That underscore boy underscore Jake just bloomed. Another beautiful month as a pay pig.
I got scared for a second because I tabbed into Twitch and it was still showing the like offline screen. And then so I got scared for a second. I'm like, did I not actually press start streaming? But I'm live on YouTube. How does that work? How does that work? But now I am alive. I am alive for sure. Probably. Probably. There's like a 90% chance. And I think my audio sounds okay now. Hopefully it's not too boomy. I don't know, I was listening back the first half of the VOD from last stream before I like turned my before I turned my game back down. And I was going not that badly, but like a little more than I would have liked. A little more than I would have liked, I think. Yeah. 90% is a surprisingly low chance? What do you mean? What do you mean? Audio sounds fine to me. I don't know, I guess I'm just picky. I'm just picky. I did some recording for something yesterday. Were you able to edit the VOD? Yes. VOD should be back up on YouTube, and it's available as a highlight on Twitch, I think. But yeah, no, I was recording something the other day, and I just like, I kind of rage quit. I kind of rage quit because I was I was recording, and like I feel like with my mic I have a choice between like audio too quiet to be good to submit for stuff or unintentional ASMR. Like I feel like I've realized recently that my mouth is just like way drier than I think it is, and it makes my audio just like I'll record myself singing and it'll just be full of it'll just be full of that. And I can't I can't stop it. I feel like I always have to keep messaging the person who's like doing the mixing. It's like, hey, is this acceptable? Can you work with this? Can you work with this? But like, no, unintentionally. Here it is. Nice. I was curious who's on your island. No suspense. It's me. So far, it's me and Bobeba and Maple Winters. There will be more people. I have not made them yet, but there will be more people. Do not worry. I've also been playing a bit because I have like an offline island, so I've been playing a bit on that. Currently, I have most of the Tales of Symphonia characters so far. Except for a couple I still need to add. Eggy, can you help with a Mahjong question? How complicated is this? It has Danganronpa. I'm sorry, what kind of question is this? A Mahjong question involving Danganronpa. Sure. Okay. But yeah. I've been playing Tomodachi Life. I don't know. I need to use my day better. And by that I mean play more Tomodachi Life. You know, I did other things. I went to the gym today. I applied for jobs. Well, not today, but like I did it the other day. I don't know, I feel like job application for me lately is like every so often I'll suddenly remember like, oh god, I'm unemployed, and then I like apply for a bunch of stuff, and then after a while I just like chill again, and then the cycle repeats. The cycle repeats. In general, there is a version of Mahjong where everyone can see each other's hands, or is the game over? Hold on. I'm checking. Hold on, I'm opening Discord. Yes. Good evening, though. Good evening to Jake. And good evening to Cool Cats Welcome. And thank you to Jake for blooming for another month. Thank you. And good evening to Panis. and good evening to Uphill, and good evening to Pembo, and good evening to Remy, and good evening to the Counter Teamer, and good evening to Freedom Fallout. There we go. Thank you, I don't know this game, and its official Danganronpa art. Let me see. Oh, was this for Rishi City? There was a Danganronpa game, or a Danganronpa collab with Rishi City. I don't know if this is from that, or if this is, like, completely unrelated, but I'm assuming this means that the game is over, I'm assuming? I don't know who won, because you can't see everybody's hands. Because of, like, the angle that they drew it at. Here, let me see if I can bring this into OBS to show you. There we go. Yeah. I think this, in this case, it means that the game is over. Because usually when you show your hand, usually that means that, like, somebody just called, like, either Ron or Tsumo, and, like, the game is over. Did it show my sub message? I don't think so. Not on screen, but it's showing here. Another beautiful month as a pay pig. Wow, I'm honored. Yeah. Also, good evening, JD274. Yeah, I'm guessing Makoto won because Celeste and Nagito's hands aren't quite winning and Jin is screwed. Well, like, okay, I can't zoom in. Oh, wait, I can kind of see everybody's tiles. I think Celeste is like a couple away. She was going for 13 orphans. Makoto is going for... Because, like, hold on. I don't think I can zoom in that far on stream. But, like, you can kind of see Celeste has 13 orphans. And Makoto, I think, was going for 3 dragons. Nagito is going for... I think he's trying to go for, like, all of a single suit. Maybe this guy... I'm assuming this is, Kirigiri's father. I'm assuming... Did he just get triple rond? I'm looking at the expression here, the little bead of sweat. I'm like, did he just get triple rond? Is that a thing that can happen? Oh wait, no, that is a thing that can happen. I think you guys were talking about it in Discord the other day. Yeah. Triple wronged? Yeah, that's how it feels. Triple rond. It means that, like... Because you know how you can get Ron, right? You put down a tile, and it turns out that that was the tile somebody needed to win, and they will call Ron on it, right? But you could also get double Rond. Like, you can get Rond multiple times if multiple people were all waiting for the same tile. So I think it is possible to get triple Rond, if like, everybody except for you were all waiting for the tile that you just put down. I think it's possible. Yeah, if I got triple Rond, I'd probably just start eating the tiles until I die. Triple Rond. It's possible. The legendary quadruple open reach. We just invented new rules. Just invented new rules. But yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yeah, I think there was a double run here. I mean, possibly more. Thank you for indulging me. I need a Mahjong interpreter. No, I'm pretty sure this art is for... Because there was a Danganronpa Richi City collaboration, so, like, I think the art is probably for that, but I can't be sure. It's possible that they might have just, like, released art for no reason of everybody playing Mahjong. I'm also, actually, no, I'm inclined to believe this is also some collaboration with something else, because there's a bunch of characters here I don't recognize. Like, you know, people at the table... Like, hold on, let me pull this out again. Yeah, who are these people at the back? Because I recognize, like, everybody at the table. And then, like, behind I recognize, yeah, Peko and Fuyuhiko and Mikan and Sayaka and Kyoko and, oh, right, Kamakura and, what's her name? The secret 16th student, ultimate despair. What's her name? Maybe like 1.2. Oh, light novel characters? Oh, maybe, yeah. Because again, at the back I recognize Togami and Toko and Junko and what's his name? The Ultimate Imposter. But like I don't recognize any of these other guys, and like the guys in the black suits, I don't recognize any of them. But like they're all definitely drawn by the Danganronpa artist, so I'm assuming they're from Danganronpa and they're not like from something else. Because like I don't remember. I've played all the games and I've watched pretty well. I mean, I didn't watch the first season of the anime, but like I watched both Danganronpa 3 anime, and I don't remember anybody who looks even remotely like these guys showing up. Mukuro Ikusawa, the 16th student lying hidden somewhere in the school, the one they call the Ultimate Despair. Watch out for her. Yeah, her. Yeah. But yeah, no, these guys don't look familiar at all. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm fake Danganronpa fan. Maybe there's some secret Danganronpa piece of Danganronpa media that's super important that I haven't found yet. But yeah, it's Danganronpa. You're the exactly one person I know who plays Mahjong and is a Danganronpa fan. There are more of us. Everybody in chat right now who's played Mahjong, which I think is most of you anyway. Hold on, we're gonna abuse the poll feature since you guys seem to like that so much. Have you played Danganronpa? Yes, no. We're not allowing additional votes because this is for study purposes only. Here we go. I haven't the slightest clue. I've never played Mahjong. But have you played Danganronpa? Do we need like the 4 factions of eggplants, or it's like people who have played Mahjong but not Danganronpa, people who have played both Mahjong and Danganronpa, people who have played neither Mahjong nor Danganronpa, or people who have played Danganronpa but not Mahjong? Yeah, I hate V3. So, but that means that you have played Danganronpa. The question is not if you like Danganronpa. That's like a completely separate. That's a separate question here. The question is, have you played Danganronpa? Danganronpa Soul. Again, they had a collab with Ricci City. I don't know if there's like some like exclusivity clause that like if you have a collab with Mahjong Soul, you can now have a collab with Ricci City or vice versa. No, actually, hold on. I'm pretty sure there's things that have had collabs with both. I don't remember off the top of my head what, but like I know Ricci City has had Danganronpa. They've had Steins Gate, I think. I know for sure those 2 off the top of my head. I feel like there has been more. I very briefly played Dangan, but if you try to ask me anything about it, I doubt I'd know anything other than like the black and white bear. How far did you get? Like, did you finish the first game or did you like drop it partway through? Fukumoto's 10 Akagi, but they're technically different. Yeah, like I think there's technically, yeah, I guess maybe. I guess our game 1 that just kind of fell through the cracks. I mean, I recommend you get back to it. I can't force you to do anything, but I recommend you get back to it at some point. You might need to start over if you're trying to remember. But I don't know. If you've played Ace Attorney, you'll probably like it. I don't know if you've played Ace Attorney. All right, okay. It looks like at least 3 of you have played Danganronpa. At least 3 of you. But I've never played Ace Attorney. Okay, well then if you like Danganronpa, I recommend you play Ace Attorney. I don't know. To me, I got into Danganronpa through Ace Attorney, and it's completely wild to me that some people got into it the other way around. Or even, like, skipped over Ace Attorney entirely. I'm like, how do you do that? It's like, because again, I found out about Danganronpa because I finished all the Ace Attorney games, and like, it's like the first thing people recommend you play once you do that. So, I'm like, did you guys not? You guys just skip that part? Completely? Hi, hello Zelly. Did you know I just remembered that DS Surgeon game? The game was like, is that like the one, that was like an Atlas one, right? Because I remember, I've never played it, but I keep seeing like screenshots from it and all the characters look very Persona. Was it that one? Still got finished Edgeworth Investigations, the first one. Yeah! I watched the Game Grumps play Ace Attorney, but I want to play them myself once enough time has passed. You're like, okay, I have to forget everything. I have to forget everything before playing it again. Understandable. Yeah, I mean, again, I played them over the course of, like, the end of 2016, beginning of 2017. I played them all, like, in rapid succession. Like, just one after the other. And then I got to the end, and I'm like, bleh! Why is there no more games? I played all of them. Yeah, it is 10 out of 10, a visual novel with random surgery. I've heard it's actually quite challenging. I mean, not just, like, surgery, but, like, specifically the game. So real-life surgery is, in fact, difficult. But, yeah. Egg, are you gonna play Dofume's Mahjong Tournament next year as well? What do you mean next year as well? I don't even... What do you mean as well? What do you mean as well? Did you not know? No. Did I just get Did I get voluntold for a Mahjong tournament? Did I just get conscripted into Zhong? Hotel Dusk Room 215 is really good if you want a detective mystery. Oh yeah, you're right. I've heard about that one too. I need to... That's another one I will get around to eventually, I think. Probably. Dofume hosted one last weekend. Oh, okay, it already happened. It already happened. I did not know. I was doing other things. I was busy touching grass, and then after that I was busy going, ooh. But that's how every weekend is, you know? You spend one day touching grass, and you spend one day going, ooh. And, like, I don't know which days which changes, but... Yeah. It's also funny because, like, the story has you and one nurse in the whole surgery. Like, so there's, like, 10 people for one surgery, and the types of surgery are super niche. Like, you don't do open heart surgery and foot surgery. What do you mean super niche? Is this, like, a surgery enthusiast made a game and is like, I need to tell people about these lesser-known forms of surgery. I got to double Rishi twice. Oh! That's, like, extreme luck. I also got watched someone get hit by a triple run. I'm assuming when you say someone, that implies that it was not you. You're just like, wow. I'm so glad that's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It was not me. Very good. Very good. I mean, not that there's really anything you can do to avoid that, but still. But... Where? Today I went to the gym. And then, I don't know. I was going to do groceries, but then I ran out of time. But yeah. I have a reaction recorded. Of what, them or you? Of being hit with a triple run. Triple run! Oh yeah, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I'm excited to feel like a human being again. I'm like... I booked the appointment last week, actually. But I'm like, I've been waiting for this the entire time. I need my bangs back. I need my bangs back. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Oh god, the opening of Hypnosis... Hold on, I'm reaching for my water. Is set in the near future of Earth of 2018. When was this game released again? Like 2010 or something? I mean, we're starting to get... I don't know. It's always weird because, like, I'm like... You know how, like, different forms of media will have, like, a different point that they consider, like, the future? Like, you know how, like, wasn't, like, the book 1984 was written, like, significantly before 1984? But then now 1984 is, like, in the past, so it's like, okay, the title is not futuristic anymore. I feel the same way with a lot of other stuff where it's like the future year of 2020. And you're like, 2005. Yeah. Well, it's like, you can't just keep updating these things, because it's like, yeah, this was done with intention, but also at some point it's not the future anymore. Like, unless you're like trying to do the thing where you set it so far into the future that you're like, anybody who reads this by that year is currently not born anytime soon, right? Like, you're like, let's set this in the year 3000, right? But yeah, like, unless you do that, it's like you're always gonna run into this issue. Yeah, Dune is set in the year 10191. It's like, okay, by the time we get there, you know, we're probably things will be different. We might not even have this book anymore. I don't know. I was thinking recently about how long like 1,000 years is. Because, like, you know how sometimes, like, it's a common thing in stories where it's like, this is how we've done things for thousands of years in this world, and it's like, sometimes when I think about, like, is there anything we do now that we were doing 1,000 years as outside of, like, basic survival tasks? Because I think about, like, okay, currently we're 2026. Like, what was the world like in, like, 1026? Like, that was, like, medieval times, wasn't it? Like, that was... like, they hadn't invented anything yet. Like, what was going on in 1026? Any history people, what was going on in 1026? That was, like, medieval period, right? Like, nothing cool, nothing interesting happened 1,000 years ago. But that's the thing, is that, like, I feel like in fantasy stories where it's like, this is the way we've done things for thousands of years, it's like, I don't know, has humanity done anything for thousands of years? They were still writing, fighting with iron swords. Yeah, but do we even do that anymore, aside from, like, reenactments? Music? I guess we still make music. But, like, is there any... There's not really... Like, I guess maybe there's still people who sing, like, ancient hymns from, like, 1,000 years ago. But... yeah, 10 generations ago sounds so far off these... Well, there's so many things that when you think about it are, like, extremely recent, right? Like... I think... everyone alive right now has always known a world with telephones, right? The invention of the telephone predates everyone alive right now, to my knowledge, I think. So... but, like, the telephone just feels like something that's always been there. Or even things, like, that we kind of take for granted, like... I'm pretty sure, like... mass... well, maybe... I'm sure somebody will correct me on this. But I feel like... schooling, like, the idea of, like, public schooling that's, like, the same for everybody, like, it's, like, standardized and free for everybody, up to a certain point. I feel like that's a fairly modern thing. But yeah. Gardening, pottery, painting, paying taxes. But, like, okay, yeah, I guess there's some stuff that's older. The Holy Roman Emperor Conrad II invaded Italy. That was kind of neat. That's what was going on. But it's like, the Roman Emperor was still around 1,000 years ago. Like, so much has changed since then. And, like, what was happening, like, 2,000 years ago? Would that have been, like, Bible times or something? That would have been even longer. Like, I feel like most stuff... I wish this was made up, but a guy named Knut the Great was doing stuff. Knut the Great. The Great. Actually, Rome fell in 476 AD. Okay, so... but yeah, it's like... so much is recent, like, within the last 100 years. I feel. Maybe 200 years. Yeah, 26 AD, Jesus has not begun his earthly ministry yet. Yeah, like, even Christianity, which is, like, usually the religion that a lot of fantasy religions are based on, is not, like, not really thousands and thousands of years old. That's why I said the Holy Roman Empire, not the same thing. Ah, right. I'm gonna pretend I know history. I'm gonna pretend I know history, but I think I know I understand what you're talking about. I don't know. Most of my history actually, I don't know. Obviously I took history like in high school and stuff, but then after that, I took history. I think I had to take a course in like modern history in my first year. Actually, I had to take 2 courses for it, but it was really weird because I kind of did them out of order because of like scheduling. So I actually did it backwards. So I did like modern history that was from like, I think like 1950s to now, or at least until present day at the time. And then the next semester I did like, it was like 1800 to 1950 or something. Actually, maybe even earlier. I remember for that class, the teacher was like, okay, you guys are actually kind of the guinea pigs, because this semester they asked me to teach like 200 years of world history instead of just 100 years. So we went through things really fast. We could tell that this, I feel like looking back, I'm like, yeah, we were definitely the guinea pigs for this, because it was like, it wasn't just like we were bouncing, because like, I guess things were moving chronologically. But on the other hand, we were like bouncing all over the world. Like every week would be like focused on a different region, and it was difficult to keep up. So it'd be like, here's what's happening in Europe. Meanwhile, in China. Meanwhile, in South America. Meanwhile, in the States. Meanwhile, like there was like, I guess he was trying to move sort of chronologically, but like it was like, it was kind of all over the place. Delicious cheese bourgor. Yummy. Rome broke up into 2 parts, the East that became Byzantine Empire out of modern-day Turkey, and the Holy Roman Empire when the Pope declared Charlemagne the Emperor of Rome. The Holy Roman Empire, for all intents and purposes, was early Germany. Ah, okay. I figured it had something to do with the Catholic Church, due to the holy part. Yeah, in history classes, we usually focus on one region at a time. Going year by year is unusual. Well, the thing is that, like, if you have to teach, like, 200 years of world history for, like, the entire world, then I guess your 2 choices are either go like one region at a time and teach 200 years at a time there, or, you know, try to go chronologically. Because I guess the teacher was trying to figure out a way to be like, here's how everything fits together, right? So it's like, it's not just like, here's what was going on in China, here's what was going on in America, here's what was going on in Europe, here's what was going on in Russia. Like, it's like, okay, here's what was going on in Europe, and here's how it fit together with what was going on in America, and that's how it fits together with what was going on in South America, and like, I think was that a specific period? It was like, I think it was like 1800 to like 19, like I think they stopped like just after World War II, I think. So it was like, it was longer, because apparently usually they would do like 100 years, but then I think they wanted him to do like an extra like 50 or 100 years of stuff, which is like a lot to get through. Yeah. So yeah, that's eventful. Yeah, it turns out a lot of things happened during that time. A lot of things happened. Yeah, region was what my history classes did. Oh, good evening, Laviren. Yeah. Again, it was just like, I think they were trying out a new format and it was not quite working, because it felt like everything went very fast, and I was looking at my notes later and I'm like, I don't understand anything I wrote down. But yeah. Technically, there was no Catholic at this point, since there was about another 1,000 years before the Reformation. The Council of Trent in 1545, they hammered out the doctrine of Catholicism. Was it just normal Christianity then? Or was it like a secret third thing? Yeah, I have a college degree in history. Yeah, but that means you got all the time to study history. We had like a single course. I guess it's just because, like, if you're studying like modern politics, then you should probably also have a good idea. Not even a good idea, just an idea of stuff that's happened in the past, right? But no, I think my other thing with history, though, is that, like, I guess when it came to studying history, I feel like where I'd lose all my points during the exams was questions about, like, military tactics. Maybe I just had, like, a teacher who was just really into military strategy and would keep putting questions about that on the exam. But I feel like my brain would just kind of, like, my brain would just kind of check out when talking about, like, military strategy, because, I don't know, I guess I always imagine, like, if I was like living, like if I was living in France during World War I, and I was told that like, oh, my country won a battle, I feel like, yeah, I would have feelings about that. I don't know if I would care specifically like what maneuver they use to win. I just care about the outcome. Oh, glasses on. Glasses on as I tell you how I'm not smart and how I lost points during an exam. Eggy, drink water. You know what? Okay, Mr. Mugen. Okay. I hate military history. I like sociology and anthropology. Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe it's kind of a self-centered way to look at history, because I feel like sometimes I view it through the lens of like, okay, if I was myself but living in this region at the time, what would I care about, right? So, in a way, it is kind of probably a self-centered way to look at things, but sometimes it's like, okay, what kind of clothes would I be wearing? What kind of food would I be eating? What would, like, you know, courtship and marriage look like at the time? Like, what kind of job would I be working, if I would be working it at all, right? Like, usually those are the kinds of things that I find interesting. And then also, you know, like the politics of the time. But I find that more interesting than military anything, really. I'm sorry, I just don't care about tanks. I don't care about tanks, I'm sorry. I don't care about military strategy and maneuvers. If it can't be used in a Fire Emblem game, I simply do not care about it. I'm sorry. I was doing another thing. When did we get historical and religious? I think I talked about 1,000 years ago. And then that's how it became historical. We had 0 military strategy. I think that's the kind of thing that depends on the teacher, right? Like, individual history teachers and professors will usually have, like, a specific area of interest, right? Like, I'm sure there's somebody somewhere whose, like, history professor was just, like, really into, like, dressmaking in the 1800s, and they somehow managed to, like, get a weird focus on textiles into the curriculum, right? Like, I'm sure somebody out there probably, that history professor has to exist, right? Yeah, one of the funnest pieces of historical presentation I got to do was the marriage chess. It was hardwood chess that was common from 1600 to about 1800. When a woman would marry, she would be given a chest to basically live here her entire life out of, since women didn't get any inheritance at that point. So they moved that was her life, and got handed down generation after generations with modifications for what was popular. So you have like a smorgasbord of different cultures mixed together. Oh yeah, because I'm assuming that like if people moved around, they would take it with them. Yeah, that's interesting. That is cool and interesting. But yeah, see, like that's the kind of thing that I would find interesting when it comes to like studying history. But we get her to play Valkyria Chronicles. Okay, one JRPG at a time. Is Valkyria Chronicles also strategy? I thought it was more of a... Actually, I know it's a JRPG. I just didn't know what the actual gameplay looks like. Or maybe, no, wait, maybe I'm mixing it up with something else. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm mixing it up with Trails in the Sky, which is a completely separate franchise. It's very strategy. Okay, no, I was mixing it up with Trails, I think. That's why I was mixing it up. I don't know. I feel like until recently, there's like a whole bunch of like very fantasy JRPGs that just like blended together in my head. Like, not necessarily... Like, obviously to me, when it comes to JRPGs, it's like, okay, you have the ones that don't take place in a fantasy setting, like, you know, like Persona or like have a very unique style to them. So it's like, okay, Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, like that's a separate thing, right? But then there's also ones that are like, for me, the ones that blended together. Prior to actually playing a Tales game, I feel like the ones that were blending together in my head were Tales of, Valkyria Chronicles, and Trails in the Sky. Those three kept blending together in my head because they're all like fantasy, like JRPGs with like a very anime art style, as opposed to something like Dragon Quest that's like a more distinct looking thing, right? You'd probably like it. I was about to follow up with it has racism in it, so it's not something to be excited about. No, I know what you mean. It's like, yeah, there are fantasy politics and world building. Thank you for specifically choosing it not to phrase it in that exact way. I just name dropped Valkyria because it has a tank in it and guns pew pew. Guns pew pew. I see. I don't know, now that I think of it, I think the only, like, actual, like... I don't know, unless you count 100 Line, but, like, the actual battle portions of 100 Line aren't terribly difficult. I guess the only one that was, like, actually... I played Fire Emblem Three Houses. I feel like maybe that might be the only, like, strategy game I've ever actually played. I think, yeah, that's the only one that would count. Anime art style, vaguely European fantasy aesthetic. You just name around 80% of the JRPGs. I know, and like, I know that they... Obviously, these franchises are all successful enough to continue, so I know that they must all have, like, something different to bring to the table. But, like, until recently, I was not able to, like, differentiate them at all. Like, if you would have asked me to go to the store and buy one, I would have looked like a grandmother. I would have looked like an old person in the GameStop trying to figure out what's the thing. And I would probably get the wrong one. Like... I would probably... I don't know, there's also... Oh, what are some other ones I keep mixing up? Etrian Odyssey and Disgaea, which I'm pretty sure are two completely separate kinds of games. It's just for some reason in my brain they keep getting scrambled. Like, I don't know if they have similar art styles or something. I don't think they even do. I don't think they're anything alike. I don't know why. I just keep getting those two mixed up. Quite different, yes. Yeah, because I know Etrian Odyssey is like a dungeon crawler. I have no idea what kind of game Disgaea is. And I have no idea why why I keep mixing them up. They're anime, that's a similarity. I mean, yeah, but like lots of other games are anime. You don't see me mixing them up with like Ace Attorney. Yeah, one is a wizardry style by Atlas, the other is an SJRPG from NIS. I also know one of them has not gotten a new installment in years, I think. Or maybe that's both of them. But yeah, I don't know why I keep mixing those two up. And like, I guess, I don't know, I can differentiate Final Fantasy as well, but also I think Final Fantasy is kind of its own beast. Like, that's its own separate thing. Hi, Iggy. Hi, everybody. Hello, Boothberry. Hello. Yeah, Etrian Odyssey died with the 3DS because of the map drawing mechanics. You need to have, like... Is like one of... Oh, is it like one of those games where, like, a touchscreen is kind of, like, necessary? Unicorn Overlord. That is a JRPG, I believe. What's the other one? Octopath Traveler? That's a more recent one, right? Eggy, drink water? I'm drinking water! Yeah. Octopath Traveler. That is 13 Sentinels. Well, okay, but 13 Sentinels I think is also a bit different. I mean, that's a strategy game, I guess. It's by the devs of Unicorn. Ah, right, it's a Vanillaware? Vanillaware. I went to be like, okay, let's Zhong now, and I realized I didn't actually open Mahjong Soul yet. There we go. The PC ports let you map with a mouse and Etrian. No reason Atlas can't make more games this series with PC is the main target. Well, also, like, the Switch has a touchscreen, and I realized maybe that would be well, wait a second. The Switch 2 has, like, a mouse feature as well. I guess maybe it's not off the table then. I still think Labyrinth of Galleria is an Eggy coded game. Is that another JRPG? Another one? ERPG, egg role-playing game. Do you role-play as the egg? But yeah, even for better, forgot the mouse on Switch 2. Yeah. Because yeah, like I know that the Switch 2 Joy-Cons can do that, so I'm like, yeah, you can get that. A game does exist too where your roleplay is an egg. Yeah, Baxter Crook I know keeps sending like things in the Discord server that are like old. It's like old games. Why was the olden times so into eggs as gaming mascots? I feel like there's like multiple ones that get sent of like different characters. Like somebody somewhere was really trying to make this a thing. Hold on. I need to set it up because I just realized I forgot. Hold on. Game capture. Yes. Alright. We're going to Zhang. Probably easy to design. I mean, I guess, but like, so is a lot of other kinds of characters, right? Yeah, a lot of it is the UK's favorite egg mascot, Dizzy. I mean, yeah, I think that's one of the ones you've sent. I know there was other ones though, right? People wanted egg to be a thing so badly. Alright. 61133. Get in here. 61133. Let me put that in YouTube as well. 61133. Pinned on YouTube. Lovely. Cool and good. Cool and good. Zhonging time. Hello, Feifound. It is zhonging time. Zhong now. Zhong now. Egg role-playing game that also lets you play Mahjong with other egg RPG players, so it doubles as a Mahjong. There is one minigame, and the minigame is Mahjong. So no one joined for a while, so I joined. Yeah, we just started. It's been a couple minutes, though. But people will find their way. They will. People are... I mean, what time is it? I mean, right now it's 8:53 p.m. It's almost 9 p.m. and I just started. Oops. Oops. But... yeah, it's like 9 p.m. here, so I guess it's like 6 p.m. in specific time zone. So I guess maybe some people are just coming back from work. Well, maybe if they have a long commute. They're eating dinner. Oh. Yaroza! You picked the guy that goes Ron! You picked the guy that goes Chi! You picked the guy that goes Reach! Let's start. Just got done with dinner. Yeah, I had soup. I ate my soup for dinner. I think I talked about my broccoli soup the other day. It needed more dishes than I expected. Yeah, I think I talked about this on Friday, because I made it on Friday. It needed way more dishes than I thought it would. I think I used like 2 or 3 pots, because it was like, okay, step 1, you know, boil your veggies in 1 pot. Step 2, transfer it to the blender and blend. Step 3, put it into a completely different pot. Like, it's specified, put this in a clean pot. So pour it into a new pot. And then after that, you have to, like... you put it in a new pot, and then you have to, like... steam some milk in, like, a separate pot. So it's too many pots. It's too many pots. Looking back, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I won't make this again. Because, like, the roasted tomato soup was, like... that was, like, I guess the baking sheet to put in the oven. And then the blender and 1 pot. And that was it. That was a reasonable amount of dishes for a soup. But, like... that's too many. That's too many! He's fun to play with, yeah. He's the one character where I manually lowered volume on in settings. Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people doing that. It's like they recorded his lines just like slightly louder than everybody else's. But yeah. I don't know. And the soup, honestly, the soup was not as good as the tomato soup. Like, I think... Yeah, I probably won't make it again. It was a lot of work for soup that wasn't as good as the tomato soup. Soup! Soup! Soup VTuber. I am simply Soup VTuber now. But, yeah. I cannot be talking about soup the whole time, though. Because that was last Friday's stream. Soup is such a last week topic. I have to change my focus. I have to pivot to something else. I can't just be talking about soup all the time. There has to be something else going on in my life other than soup. I can't be at soup for my whole life. Stew? No, never. Never. I was talking with my sister a while back, because I just remember once she like just brought it up. She's like, is it just me or is stew overrated? And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I agree with her on that. I agree with her. I think stew is overrated. She was like, yeah, every time I eat stew, I'm just kind of like disappointed. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Like, I know there's probably other things that like count as stew. Like, I guess like curry is technically a stew, right? But like... She's right. When I have stew, I do often feel disappointment. Overrated? How? Well, I think it's like, I feel like it's easier to have a bad stew than to have a bad soup. I think it's also that, like, stew takes longer to make compared to soup. So, like, I feel like if you make a soup and it sucks, then you're like, okay, well, I guess my soup sucks. But, like, I feel like if you have stew and it sucks, then you're like, okay, well, that was, like, an entire afternoon for nothing. What are you talking about? You're right, I guess you can make it in a slow cooker. Huh. Not beating the soup tuber allegation? I'm sorry, maybe I am soup tuber through and through. Oh, was that a dumb move? I think that was a dumb move. I shouldn't have done that. Foolish. Oh, that was another dumb move, I think. Huh. Foolish. Also, good evening, Jinduce. Eggy drop soup. Did you know? You probably knew. I've told this story on stream before. The first time I ever made egg drop soup, I think I was like 10 years old. And when I was pulling the eggs out of the fridge, I accidentally dropped them on the ground. Like, luckily, it was like the carton. I didn't drop like the actual eggs. It was like the full carton. So only a couple of them actually broke. So we didn't lose like all of our eggs. But I did actually I made dropped egg soup, I guess. Egg, how can you even make a stew that isn't at least decent? I don't know. Maybe it's because the... Okay. Here's my theory, is that because, you know, in stew, the chunks of stuff is bigger, right? So it's harder for, I guess, the flavor to, like, really get into the individual pieces, right? Because if you have, like, a big potato, yeah, there's gonna be, like, the broth on, like, the outer part. But then you're gonna get to the middle, and it's gonna be just, like, potato. You don't add potatoes? Well, to be fair, I've also never made a stew. This is my experience with, like, other people's stew. But I do, in fact, like, again, I've always had... When I've had stew, historically... I say historically, I'm not that old. Historically, when I've had stew, I have, in fact, eaten it with potatoes, yes. Not supposed to add whole potatoes. It's not whole potatoes. It's, like, part of the potatoes. But even if you cut them smaller, it's still, like, a potato is still going to be, like, a potato cut in quarters is still going to be bigger than like whatever you would put in a soup, right? In a soup, it would be much smaller pieces, right?
Huh.
Like the soup defender has logged on. Or the stew defender. Yippee! There we go. Boom. Mine first? Oh, cool, I'm in first. Winning! Winning! The point of the stew is not to have the same taste every spoonful. You're supposed to have variety in each. Yeah, but like... It's all going in the same broth, though. Like, it's all being stewed in the same stew. Are they egg size or eggy hand size or larger? I don't know. Maybe the size of, like... Definitely probably smaller than an egg. Or, like, are you talking, like, normal potatoes? Like, I guess a potato is maybe roughly the size of my fist here. But you can also buy, like, mini potatoes. Like, you can buy smaller ones that are specifically... Like, I know my mom, I don't know what brand of potatoes this was, but I know my mom used to be able to find these potatoes at the grocery store that would be packaged, like, specifically, like, okay, we've put together, like, the best potatoes. Like, these are the ones that are best for making, like, fries. And these are the ones that are best for mashed potatoes. And these are the ones that are the best for, like, baked potatoes, like, and so on. But I don't know if they were different kinds of potatoes or if they just, like, picked them by, like, size and other qualities. It was kind of convenient, though. Oh, ramen versus pho versus biang biang. Yeah, but they're completely different soups. We're not, why would we have this argument? Like, it's not even just apples and oranges. It's like apples and oranges and bananas. Like, yeah, they're all fruit, but like... What is biang biang? I'm assuming it's like the Chinese equivalent. I'm assuming it's another Chinese noodle soup. Very big noodle. Very big noodle. But yeah, we're not gonna fight about noodle soups. It's all... Are we also going to argue about, like, burgers versus hot dogs? Is that what we're doing tonight? You should probably cut your potatoes into eighths, but also if you cook your stew for multiple hours, there should not be an issue with the potatoes absorbing the flavor unless something is different about your potatoes.
Reach!
I mean, it might also depend the method, because again, I feel like when my mom would make stew, she would usually use a slow cooker. But I don't know if that produces, like, different results for stew compared to other methods. Burgers versus hot dogs, make a poll now. We are building a fan base based on everyone fighting with each other all the time. Burgers versus hot dogs. Stew versus soup. Noodle soup versus noodle soup versus noodle soup. Egg, you add acidity to your stew before your potatoes are cooked. Please note, I have never actually made a stew on my own. I have only eaten the stew of others. I'm trying to think when my mom would make stew though. I think she would add tomatoes. I don't think she would add lemon. I don't think, it wasn't like super acidic, but I think that's also because like, my dad is also not somebody who can tolerate like super acidic foods. So usually she would make it so that he can eat it. Food Wars, wait, that's an anime. Yeah, oh right, yeah, that is an anime. I just don't know how to make a bad stew, unless you just use water as a broth or something. I mean, I think it's also just like... The actual eating experience of stew for me as well is that because the chunks are bigger, it's really difficult to get the right temperature. I don't know though. I mean, I guess there are things I like that are technically stew. Like curry is technically stew, right? And like, I like curry. And I guess I like chowder. And And that's technically stew as well, right? Someone's gonna fight me on that probably, but
残念だが、この宝を手放すほかないぜ。
stewing and stew, I argue, are two different things. I would agree with that statement. I agree with this statement. we're in like soup court now. Stew is on trial. Temperature's not a big deal with stew. If you go high, you have to add a bit of water layer. No. I'm not talking about during the cooking process. I'm talking about during the eating process. Because it feels like, to me, because the chunks are so much bigger, everything is either like burn your mouth hot, or it's just like slightly too cold. Whereas I feel like soup I feel warmer because like it's easier to get it to a consistent temperature, right? I shouldn't be listening to this while stuffing my spinach and more spinach smoothie. Extremely green smoothie. I mean, I don't know. Is that a soup? Don't answer that. We're not having that argument today. We're not having that specific argument today. I refuse. Actually, I haven't had a smoothie in a while. Maybe I should do that. I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, why don't I have a smoothie today? And then I'm like, oh right, I don't have any fruits or I don't have any fruits in the house, that, at least not ones that can be smoothified. I think stew is just higher default skill, that's all. Yeah, it might be that. But again, it was like, that's what my sister was saying. She's like, stew is disappointing. Like, I guess it is true that it is more common to have a disappointing stew than it is to have a disappointing soup, right? I mean, I guess you can have disappointing soup. But I feel like every time I've had, well, I was just complaining about being disappointed about soup earlier, so maybe you can have disappointing soup, I guess. Is hot dog a sandwich and other such useless debates over at NiceEggy on Twitch and YouTube? Yes, we are starting. Welcome to arguments. Welcome to arguments. We zhong and we argue about food, mostly. I had way more disappointing soups than disappointing stews. I mean, I guess I've had disappointing... You know what I think it is? I think I've had more disappointing soups at restaurants. But it's specifically, I think, like... Because, like, usually stuff like ramen and pho is not disappointing, but that's usually because, like... When you go to a pho restaurant, usually pho is, like, the thing they specialize in, right? They're like, welcome to pho. Please have a bowl of pho, right? But, like... I guess, to me, it's, like, stuff like... tomato soup. Or pumpkin soup, or stuff like that. I guess maybe because, like, those kinds of soups are, like, easier to get out of a can, or easier to, like, sell in bulk. I don't think I've ever really been to a restaurant that had, like, 100% fresh, made on site soup that wasn't, like, you know, like pho or ramen or, like, a specialty soup. Friend or foe. Good evening, Nara! Hold on, my headphone is running out of battery. Where did I put it? Oh, wait, no, it's right here in my pocket. Very cool. Usually the ingredients you put into a stew are making it very hard to not make it tasty. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, maybe also just growing up, maybe stew was just not something my mom was especially good at making. That's also a possibility. It's also a possibility. With all due respect to my mother, it definitely is a possibility. Like, I feel like everybody has that kind of food, right? Like, you know, where there's, like, one dish that, like, your parents were not especially good at making growing up, so you just, like, never enjoy it. Maybe that was stew. Well, maybe not. You know what, maybe I know I was like that with lamb for a while. Because, like, I think when I was a kid, my mom was not especially good at making lamb, and even she would admit that. That's not like that's not like me slandering my mother. Like, even she would admit she was not very good at preparing lamb. So I just kind of never really got into lamb until recently when I started having it at like Hot Pot, or there's a place I went to that had like really good lamb skewers. Like, I just never thought to order it, and then I'm like, oh wait, no.
Wrong!
No!
Toy toy.
Toy toy. Well, okay, it's fine. I think I'm still in. I'm no longer in. Wow! Wow! I was gonna say, at least I'm still in first. Wow! Unbelievable! How could they do this to me? Terrible eggplants. Terrible. Terrible. Congratulations, Gigi. Congratulations to Val. Thank you for playing, and also to XSL. I almost said Excel, like the spreadsheet program. XSL. And thank you to Lavi for playing. I am Val. I'm sorry for saying it like a goat. Val. Oh yes, thank you for playing. Welcome, good evening to Overlord Whale. Good evening. Hello. Mods, shout out Overlord Whale. Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? Were you also zhonging, or were you doing some other game other than zhong that presumably exists? But yes, casual 3/4. I'm good to not play anymore today. Well, for anybody else who wants to play, the code is pinned. These are friendlies, so anybody can jump in if you want to. But yes, I hope you had a nice and good stream, although it seems you did not. It seems you did not. But, for those who are unfamiliar, I am NiceEggy. I am nice, and I have an eggy. And tonight we're playing Mahjong, but I do also stream other things. I do Legend of Zelda on Wednesdays. I've been playing Ocarina of Time, and I think I'm closer to the end of that than I am to the beginning. I streamed Tomodachi Life the other day. I have a bunch of like hand cam stream ideas that I've been meaning to do. I just never get around to it. I promise hand cam arts and craft stream eventually. What if you're not friendly? Unfriendlies. No, that's just ranked. That's just ranked. It would be funny if they changed it from ranked to unfriendly. So you have friendly match and unfriendly match. Hostile match. She's nice and eggy, so that means she's soft-boiled eggs. I guess? I do like soft-boiled eggs. I don't know. Favorite eggs? Favorite styles of eggs. I like soft-boiled eggs. I like sunny side up. I like, I guess poached eggs. I like eggs with a runny middles. I don't care for scrambled eggs. I don't care for hard-boiled eggs. I also don't care for, I don't know, I guess any egg with like a super cooked middle. I prefer the runny eggs. Sounds like something like Smash would do. Unfriendly matches. Aggressive matches. Evil matches. Hostile matches. Eggs Benedict versus Eggs Florentine. What's Eggs Florentine? I'm probably gonna Google this and find out it's a thing I've already been eating for years. Eggs Florentine is a classic brunch dish consisting of poached eggs and sauteed spinach. Serve on a toasted English muffin. Oh, so it's just like Eggs Benedict, but like with spinach instead of other things underneath? Eggs aren't really tasty unless prepared in the exact way one likes it. Yeah! Oh, I'm also a fan of onsen eggs. I like the onsen tamago. Also a fan of that. It's like, what if raw eggs weren't raw, but like they were still sort of like that? Ideal form of egg. Yeah, yellow part not liquid. I don't know what it is about like egg yolks that just become instantly worse the moment that they are solidified. Because like I don't know, I guess I also don't mind like medium. Oh, I like the ramen eggs. I like ramen eggs. Soft-boiled ramen eggs, also a big fan of that. Well, I guess I don't know. Ramen eggs aren't really, they're like soft, they're like halfway soft-boiled. They're like medium boiled. Like they're like somewhere in between. But yeah, big fan of that. Big fan of that. They're like gooey but not runny. Yeah, I believe jammy is the word I keep seeing recipes use for it. Big fan of ramen eggs. I like my yolk rock hard sometimes. For what purpose? I don't know, I guess for me is like... I feel like as a kid I got kind of, I don't know if grossed out is the right word, but maybe like turned off. Cause like, you know when you overboil an egg a little bit and like the sides of the yolk or like the sides of the white turn gray? I was like, I really did not like that as a kid. Like I would, because it looks like something is wrong with the egg. And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of overcooked a little. But like, I don't know, as a kid I got like really turned off by that. And I just never got into hard-boiled eggs. Like my yolk rock hard. Salads and stuff, I guess that's true. I guess if you're doing like an egg salad too. Well, no, even for egg salad sandwiches, I feel like I usually go like soft or medium boiled. Yeah, more like medium boiled. But yeah. I eat mainly oyakodon lately when I have egg. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Oh yeah, I need to have eggs. Sorry, I bought... Usually I buy eggs by the half dozen because I'm eating them by myself. And I can only go through so many eggs. But I remember, I think last time I went to the store, they didn't stock any of the 6, so I had to buy a full dozen, and now I'm like, oh, I think I still have like 10 eggs left, and I have to figure out something to do with that. Well, no, it's probably more like 8 or 9. But yeah. Simply bake, that's what I do. That's fair, that's fair. I need to... I remember a while back, I asked my sister for the recipe and then I still have not made it. There was like these shortbread cookies. I thought my mom made them, but then it turns out it was actually my sister. But, it was like Earl Grey shortbread cookies. So it was like, it's like pretty much just like a normal shortbread recipe, except that you also have to pour in a bunch of like Earl Grey tea leaves. Like you essentially just like cut a tea bag open and pour that in to the batter. And I have some loose leaf tea, and I'm like, I kind of want to try it with that too. But... Because, like, I have... Like a kind of, like, black, kind of Earl Greyish loose leaf tea. I'm like, it could work for that. I also have a green tea, but I feel like green tea... Like, non-matcha green tea, I feel like isn't particularly good for, like, desserts. I feel like green tea works better for like savory kind of recipes compared to, because like I guess there's matcha, but like outside of matcha, like the fresh green tea, you can't really. I feel like that doesn't integrate well into baking. Yeah, I don't really like any runny yolk. Somehow it has a 10% chance of making me gag a little, and I don't like to gamble. Oh no, what about like I said, like the ramen eggs with like kind of the like semi-solid middle? But yeah, I guess that would be a pretty decent way to get through eggs. Cause like, I don't know, I like a fried egg once in a while. I like, what other eggs? Oh, there was a thing, maybe I should start making this again. I'll have to check if that's cilantro. I don't think it's good anymore. There was like a thing I used to make for myself all the time that was just like, it was basically just like a soft-boiled egg, cut up on toast. And then I would put Kewpie mayo and some kind of greenery on top. Usually it was either parsley or green onions. That was like my average like breakfast / lunch for like a solid chunk of 2019. Like, I would just make one of those. Maybe not every day, but like if I had time to boil an egg in the morning, I would be making myself that. Getting hungry on Eggy stream. I'm sorry. I was doing that to myself the last time I streamed. I'm sorry, the nachos in Tomodachi Life look so good. Have you seen the nachos in Tomodachi Life? They look like really good nachos. I want to eat the Tomodachi Life nachos. Yeah, I like my ajitama. Egg. Yummy egg. We have a chain of restaurants.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that was loud. Junbi wa bandanda. Okay. I got it. I'll start the game. You stop shouting at me. Yeah, no one joins, so I rejoin for one game. No need to work after this. That's okay. My general rule is, like, make sure everybody who wants a turn gets a turn. So, like, don't play for 2 games in a row, but, like, if we're waiting for a while and no one else is joining, then feel free to jump back in. That's the general rule of EGGY. Yeah. You're still on the nacho train. I know! Well, can you disagree? Can you really look at the Tomodachi Life nachos and disagree that they are very tasty looking and make you hungry? Like... We have a chain of ramen restaurants here in Germany, and it's just alright. Though recently I had a pretty good ramen at a local ramen store that imported a... imported a JP chef. I'm sorry, the way you said imported is like they like put him in a box and like shipped him overseas. I'm yearning to go again. Yeah, I think... I mean, I guess maybe I take for granted how common, like, even half-decent ramen is here. Like... There's a fair number of ramen places, and, like, they're not all exactly top tier, but, like... Yeah, I guess... It's not hard to find good ramen here, I think. Generally, for a lot of people, too, all of us know the rules, even if it's unspoken. Yeah, the unspoken EGGY genre. Nachos are fine. I usually prefer any other snack. Usually popcorn is also very mid. This is popcorn slander. I like popcorn. It is versatile and also healthier than chips. But yeah, no, here ramen... I guess what I found here actually is that, like, when it comes to Japanese food, the stuff that does really well is stuff that's either, like, really unique, like something like sushi, or it's like really, really heavy and rich. So like, sushi does well here, ramen does well here, what else does well here? There's a few udon places, but I guess udon's not like heavy enough to fall into either category. Onigiri is having a moment. Onigiri is having a moment, I think. Oh, udon. Oh, rice bowls. Rice bowls also do pretty well here, I think. I guess poke bowls, but I feel like poke bowls kind of overlap a lot with sushi. Like, I feel like a lot of the places that do poke bowls, they were like originally sushi places, and then they just like branched out into a new market. I've also like been to sushi places that also sell poke bowls, but it's very clearly just like the method they're using to get rid of like the leftover fish. Like, it's a pretty decent way to get rid of your leftover fish, but it's like sometimes you just like look at the poke bowls and it's just like, when it comes to the fish, it's just a bowl of whatever. Like, there's no like specificity to the like type of fish put on. It's like, yep, we put like, there are multiple kinds of fish, and you're like, okay. This is clearly just like the the bits and pieces. I don't know, I've had pretty yummy ones though. Oh, maybe I should get one this week. I guess maybe if I'm in the area. There's one place that I tried when I was working a job a few months ago that it was one of those ones that like would have like lineups during lunch hour because like everybody in the area was trying to get trying to get theirs, but it was pretty tasty. It was yummy. I liked it. They had what they called like, I think it was like a salad poke bowl, where it was pretty much, it was like a poke bowl except instead of rice they would just put like, you know, salad greens, but you still had like a ton of fish on top, so it kind of compensated for it, you know? That was good. I like that. Yummy. One could say it's fishy, but hey, just like fish sticks or chicken nuggets. Fish nuggets. Wasn't there like a Filet-O-Fish, right? Like the McDonald's burger. Like Filet-O-Fish is, to my knowledge, just like pretty much the same as like any one of like the chicken sandwiches, just with like a piece of fish instead of a piece of chicken, right? Or am I speaking nonsense? Is Filet-O-Fish like a Canada-only thing that I'm just like unaware of? Maybe it is. Maybe it is. What is Pokeball to Chirashidon? Also, good evening. Happy Mahjong Monday. Hello, Taishi. Good evening. It's in the US too, don't worry. Okay, that's good, because there's definitely been like fast food items that I feel like I've mentioned and people are like I didn't find out until later that apparently like the shaker fries, I don't think you guys got the shaker fries, did you? And like, I don't know, at the end of the day it's fast food. It's not like it's not like a huge deal, but it's like sometimes I do worry I'm speaking nonsense. Yeah, it's around in Singapore. Okay. I know, though, Singapore, I remember talking with somebody from Singapore before about their McDonald's. You guys have, like, way more options, actually, than we do. I don't know, I feel like McDonald's in the US and Canada tends to, like, until recently, I feel like maybe it's changed a little recently, but I feel for a while it was kind of resting on its laurels. In the sense of, like, I would hear about, like, in other countries, they're like, oh yeah, we got, like, you know, green tea McFlurry or something, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Filet-O-Fish was introduced in like the 1960s by McDonald's to pull in the Lent crowd. Wait, really? I mean, that checks out, but I guess, yeah, you know what, actually that checks out. Yeah, I like Japan's McDonald's more. Yeah, I did like, okay, I think the thing with Japan's was that the first time I went to a Japanese McDonald's, and like, not to be thing Japan, but like, when I went to a Japanese McDonald's for the first time, they gave me my food, I sat down to eat it, I like picked up the burger, and then I had to put it down because it was too hot. And then I realized like, that was the first time in years that had happened to me, that I had been served food at McDonald's that was not only warm, but actually a little too warm. That had been like the first time in a long time. I feel like I was so accustomed to like stuff taking so long that it was like cold by the time it actually is served to you. And I'm like, oh right, they can do that. Yeah. We got Grinch flavored McShaker TM fries for the holidays. I think we got that. I think Canada also gets a bunch of like weirdly Canada specific ones. Like, I think we have some kind of hockey thing going on right now. Some hockey-related meal. I think there was, like, a Shania Twain meal. I'm sorry, that, like... this is, like, extremely Canadian, but, like... I think there might be some that I'm assuming are specific to Canada. How long does it take usually? I don't know. Long enough? I mean, maybe it also depends on, like, what time you go, right? Because, like, I know there's certain times a day where I'm assuming they, like, make a fresh batch of stuff, right? Where it's like, okay, this time of the day is fries hour, where they make a new batch of fries, and then the fries will be warmer and fresher just because they haven't been sitting out for a while, you know? No! But... yeah. I don't know, not too long, but I guess also maybe I was just going to McDonald's in Canada with like really, really bad service. Or the ones that were like especially egregiously understaffed. Also a possibility. But... I don't know, I think another thing though I noticed with like Japanese fast food as well though was like, I don't know, it felt like it didn't quite feel the same as what I'm used to. Like, I feel like the only place I went to that felt... like, the only fast food place I went to that, like, felt like, yeah, this is kind of similar to what we have at home was, the Wendy's First Kitchen. Because, like, McDonald's Japan felt different. Moss Burger, obviously, we don't have here, so that was different. Lotteria didn't quite feel the same. Like Wendy's First Kitchen. That was the only one that I'm like, yeah, this feels similar to what we have at home. This is the closest thing to a North American burger that you can get in Japan, at least like from a major chain. Because I didn't really get to try many, like, I don't know. In my area, there weren't a lot of like non-chain burger places. First Kitchen? Yeah, so First Kitchen is a chain in Japan. It's like a Japanese. So, but First Kitchen is the company that is responsible for bringing Wendy's items over to Japan. So all the Wendy's items are technically, like, the one I went to was in Osaka, and it was like 2 floors, and I feel like one floor was like First Kitchen, and the second floor was Wendy's. So it was like sharing a building. I guess it's kind of like how you might have like, you know, combination Burger King and Taco Bell kind of thing. You mean Fakin? No. Fasto Kitchen. First Chicken, the one with an interesting short... Oh. First Kitchen, yes. First Kitchen. But, yeah, like KFC and A&W. Are those related in the States? Because I know here it's KFC and Taco Bell that I think are usually put together. But I know A&W in Canada is apparently very different from A&W in the States. Apparently ours might actually be better. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't say, like, it's not like A&W is my favorite restaurant, but it is probably kind of like out of like fast food burger place, I feel like, I guess, burger-wise, I feel like it's the best one. KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, owned by the same corp. Okay, yeah, those were the 3 that I was thinking. Because usually here, like, I feel like if you have a KFC in a food court, you're almost certainly going to have a Taco Bell, and vice versa. And usually they're like right next to each other. So I wonder, like, some of them I think share like a kitchen. I'm pretty sure. Like, the one closest to me, I think, yeah, the mall that I go to most often has. They have a KFC and a Taco Bell, and it's conjoined, and, like, I'm pretty sure they share a kitchen, and I'm pretty sure there might be some menu items. Like, I think you can order for both at the same time. So you can be like, yeah, I want this KFC item and this Taco Bell item, and, like, I think you can order it from, like, the same place. I'm not really a KFC person. Yeah, A&W was an old chain in the US but failed out, went over to Canada, and then was brought back over in some KFCs, I think. Ah, interesting. Yeah, KFC declined so hard. I mean, the thing is like, I don't think I've ever met anyone whose favorite, like, not even fast food restaurant, but like just fried chicken restaurant is KFC. Because I feel like I've known people who are like, yeah, I love Popeyes, or people who are like I feel like every other chain, every other fried chicken chain has its like defenders except for KFC. If there's a First Kitchen, is there a 6th or 7th kitchen? I think it would be funny if they would name their locations that way. Like, you have First Kitchen, and then the next one they open is Second Kitchen, and then, like, after that's, like, Third Kitchen, Fourth Kitchen. And then, like, after there's, like, 50 locations, it's, like, 51st Kitchen. 52nd Kitchen. Well, it's like, I don't know. There's a coffee chain in Canada called Second Cup. Maybe it works like that. They're all Second Cup. There is no Third Cup. There's also no First Cup. There's only Second Cup. Actually, I know, actually no, there is First Cup, but it only exists in fiction. In Scott Pilgrim, I think, there's a character who works at a coffee shop, and it's very clearly based on Second Cup, but it's called First Cup. So it exists, but only, like, fictionally. Yeah, KFC is not the first choice. KFC has suffered through the ages. Back in the black and white days, they were pretty good. I think they have bad quality control and probably cut ingredient costs over the years. Maybe. I think it's also just... competition. Like, I just feel like there's so many competing chains that, like, you can't just compete entirely on brand recognition anymore, right? Because, like, what do we have in Canada? Obviously, we have KFC, we have Popeyes. There's a Canadian one called Mary Brown's. I think that one's specific to Canada. We have a couple locations of Chick-fil-A, but it's not very common, and I think a lot of cities don't have it yet. Same with Jollibee. We have a few locations of Jollibee, but not every city has a Jollibee. What else do we have? There's gotta be another one. There's definitely another one I'm missing. What am I missing? Yeah, those cover the chicken places. Raising Cane's? We don't have Raising Cane's here. Cane has never touched our country at all. Cause yeah, what do we not have here? We don't have Raising Cane's. Girl, you so egg. Hello, Digitizer. I am so egg. Do you happen to have Dixie Lee? I have never heard of that. Yeah, we don't have them here, I don't think. Or if we do, then they're like... Because I mean, I imagine there's probably some that, like, exist. It's just that, like, their only location is in, like, Vancouver or something. Like, it's, like, on the other side of the country. Because I think IHOP is like that. There is, like, some locations of IHOP in Canada, but, like, they're all on the other side of the country. Oh, fried chicken place further east. I mean, I know also in the States, a lot of this stuff is very regional, right? Like, I've heard the fights between, what is it? In-N-Out is the one from California, right? I think that's like the West Coast one. And what's the East Coast one? The one that people eat? Is it Shake Shack? We have Shake Shack here. I tried it. It was kind of mid. I mean, I think when I went to Shake Shack, I remember like I messaged Beba. I'm like, okay, what do people usually get at Shake Shack? And then she was like, okay, just like don't get the fries because the fries aren't that good. And it was like after I placed my order, and I'm like, oops. And she was right. The fries were not that good. They really weren't. Ah. Thank you, Digitizer.
DIGIT1ZER just bloomed.
DIGIT1ZER. Thank you, DIGIT1ZER. Thank you for sprouting. 4. 6 months! Ooh, a multi-month. Thank you for sprouting for 6 months at a time. That's like, that's half a year. Half a year of Eggy. Yeah. Is Culver's a thing in your region? Unfortunately not. Okay. Okay. The Shake Shack fries are better than In-N-Out unless you request well-done fries. I don't know. Maybe they use a different supplier here, but the Shake Shacks that I've been to, like, the fries tasted like they came from the grocery store. Like, they tasted like the kind of fries that you find in the frozen section and then put in the oven at home. That's what they tasted like. It wouldn't surprise me if that's what they were. Like... Yeah. The Shake Shack fries are better than In-N-Out, but yeah. I had Shake Shack in Japan and it tasted the same, so that's how I know it's I mean, I don't know. The burger was fine. It didn't make much of an impression on me, I guess. In-N-Out's the most overrated. Okay, see, this is the thing where I see, like, people fighting, because I think it's like an East Coast, West Coast thing. Where people, like, pick their allegiance to the burger chain. Describing rivalries to an American. Imagine 2 burger chains. Oh, actually, also we have Five Guys. We have Five Guys in Canada. We have that. We do have Five Guys. I think it's Five Guys is mostly the same as it is in the States. Not in a... See, this is what I'm talking about. Welcome to the Eggy channel, where we argue. We argue. Welcome to arguing. Yeah, In-N-Out is not overrated for the area. Or getting actually'd. Yeah. It's the lowest price point. Yeah, I've heard it's like Even, I mean, from the prices I've heard for In-N-Out, it seems to be like pretty affordable for anywhere in the country, not just like for, but if it's in California and manages to stay in business, then I guess it must be doing something right. Please do not wage war on California in my chat. Five Guys are so long as you can afford to mortgage your house. Yeah, I guess it is more expensive. I think the other thing too is the first time I went, and I feel like this is everyone's mistake the first time they go to Five Guys. I accidentally ordered a burger with 2 patties because I didn't realize that you have to order, like, what do they call it? Like the little, or like the small. Didn't realize that you had to order that in order to get a normal size of burger, so I just ate a giant burger. No, I mean, my first experience with Five Guys is, oops, this is way too much food, because I accidentally ordered a burger with 2 patties, and then a milkshake, and then the fries, which they give you more than you expect of that. Yeah. I know, why are some Japanese in dispute over beef bowl? You're right, maybe this is the this is the argument. The Americans will argue over burgers, and Japanese people will argue over beef bowls. There we go. Not in last place. Last stint. My first experience with Five Guys that they actually made food for 10 guys. You know, I went into a Five Guys and, like, I don't know, there was like at least like 6 or 7 people working. No! Ah! Not the joke I meant to make! Not the joke I was trying to make! Ugh. Okay. I retract my statement. I retract my statement regarding the 6-7 people at Five Guys. I'm sorry I didn't catch myself earlier. Yeah, if your food is good, cheap people will flock to it. But yeah, I don't know. I have not been to California, so I cannot give my opinion for or against. Actually, I don't think I've been anywhere on the... Well, I mean, I guess I've been to Vancouver. So I've been on, like, the west coast of Canada, but I don't think I've ever been to, like, West Coast America. Like, I don't know. Have I been anywhere further west than, like... I think Colorado is, like, the furthest west I've ever been. In terms of, like, United States. Have you been to Europe yet? No, I have not. I have not been to Europe. What are all the places I've been ever? I have been to, I mean, obviously Canada. I've been to multiple provinces in Canada. Like 3 of them, but like the... I have been to Quebec. I have been to Ontario. I have been to British Columbia. I have not been to any... Well, I mean, I guess I've sort of technically been to New Brunswick, but it was like... stepping there for like... It was like we went up to the sign. We were in Quebec, and then my family drove up to the sign and took a picture of like, welcome to New Brunswick, and then we turned around and went back. I have not been... I have been to Florida. I have been to Colorado. I have been to Michigan. I have been to Ohio. I have been to New York. I have both New York City and also other parts of New York State. I have been to... Is that really... Ohio, Michigan, Colorado... I mean, technically, I guess it was also the other states when I went to MagFest. when we went from New York City to DC. Oh yeah, I've been to DC. We went from New York City to DC. There was like, I think we drove through a few other states. Like I think we drove through New Jersey. Oh yeah, I guess I've technically been to New Jersey. Actually, not even technically. I have been to New Jersey. I think we drove through Delaware. I guess I've also been in like the states, like I guess Maryland. From like the other years I've went to MagFest because like the actual Airbnbs we're staying at weren't in DC. All right, congratulations, backed. Congratulations, backed. Thank you for playing. And thank you, XSL and Nanora. Thank you for playing. Tonight is not Eggy winning night, but that's okay. Not every Mahjong Monday can be Eggy winning day. Playing perfectly and still losing is what Mahjong is. I was not playing perfectly. I was not playing anywhere remotely perfectly. MagFest is technically in Maryland. Okay, yeah, that's fair. You're technically right, yeah. Oh yeah, and then obviously I have been to Japan. I have been to Tokyo and to Kobe and to Osaka and to Kyoto, but only for like a day or two. Where else have I been? Chiba, if that counts. Was there any? There's gotta be another city I went to. I guess like a bunch of the other smaller cities in between Kobe and oh, I went to Himeji. But also like a bunch of the other like Nishinomiya and like the other smaller cities in between Kobe and Osaka. So where was the JP layover? When I landed, it was Tokyo. Because like I feel like most flights coming into the country go in through either Narita or Haneda. So I feel like usually if you have if you're going, I don't even know if any, I don't even know if there are direct flights from anywhere in Canada to, I mean, maybe there are now, since there's probably higher demand. But yeah, I remember at the time, I think there weren't any direct flights that went from, because I went, basically, like, my first layover was in Vancouver when I went. So yeah, I don't think there was really any that went directly from, like, Vancouver to Osaka. I think all of them had, like, some kind of layover in Tokyo at either one of the airports. Again, maybe it's different now because I imagine there's probably much more of a demand. So it wouldn't surprise me if there are, like, direct flights to Osaka. Or maybe to, like, not Kobe. Kyoto, maybe. And, like, again, maybe not all flights, because I also imagine there's probably, like, flights coming in from, like, Australia or other parts of Asia that probably can, like, I imagine there's probably direct flights from, like, Beijing to, like, any given Japanese city just because it's closer. But I guess for, like, you know, airplanes coming in from the other side of the world, maybe that might be a Tokyo-only thing. Thank you for the clip, XSL. 6-7. But no, I have not been to anywhere in Europe yet. I have not been to any of the other continents for that matter. I've been to 2 continent. Quick UK trip for Heavy Expo. UK is so expensive right now, though. Like, even more so than the States, I think. Like, the exchange rate between, like, the dollar and the pound is, like, I think even my uncle took a trip to the UK, I think it was last year or the year before. And even then, he was like, yeah, I really had to watch what I was buying because, like, something that looks like a reasonable price when it's written in pounds, and probably is a reasonable price in pounds, is like I think right now the pound is like almost double what the Canadian dollar is. Vancouver, not even France? France is, believe it or not, actually further away. France is in fact further away than Vancouver. I don't know. I will Europe someday. Where and for what purpose, I'm not sure. But I will at some point. One day. But yeah, such exchange rate. Yeah, such as exchange rates. Because yeah, like I know in the States, I think is like still... Like it's a multiplier of like 1.3, right? So it's like in the States, I think like everything costs like 30% more. So like something that's like $1 there is like $1.30 Canadian, more or less. I don't know what the rate is right now, but that's more or less what it was the last time I went. But yeah, no. Eggy will go to France to flex her French prowess. I will go into a cafe and I will order in French and they will catch on to my accent and immediately switch to English. This happens to me in Quebec as well. Like I'll be like, okay, time to practice my French. And I'll be like, un café, s'il vous plaît. And then they're like, okay, do you want it with milk or sugar? This happens consistently. I'm sure the Parisians would be kind of understanding. I mean, it's not like they're mad that you're speaking French, it's just more like they're like, okay. But then again, I guess my French is probably like, maybe not fluent, but like, you know, it's like, it's not like I'm sitting there going like, café s'il vous plaît. Like, it's not like I'm like sitting there struggling with it. Like so maybe they would just like, you know, play along. But it's good enough. Well, yeah, because I guess it also probably depends. Maybe it's different. Because I know one thing I experienced in Japan was like... Because I didn't live in Tokyo. I lived in Kobe when I was there. And when I would go to places in Kobe, they would greet me in Japanese and they would talk to me in Japanese. And they wouldn't even try to switch to English unless I looked like I was really, really, really struggling. But then when I would go to Tokyo, they would just like... They would completely skip the Japanese part. They would just go straight to English, which is understandable because Tokyo probably gets like way more tourists. So like the likelihood of any given person to not speak Japanese in Tokyo is much higher compared to other cities, right? So yeah, that was so maybe it's like that in France. Like maybe in Paris, they might not like, you know, if your French isn't perfect, they might be like, ah, un touriste. But then, like, in other cities, maybe it's different. Looks like the direct flight was 7 to 8 hours to Paris from Toronto. Yeah, I guess. I feel like that's almost double the flight from Vancouver. That's, like, just about double. Because I think Toronto to Vancouver is like 4 or 5 hours. So yes, France is quite literally twice as far. I think you'd be called out for speaking Quebecois French since Canadians are trying slightly different French. I don't know. Is my French that Quebecois? I mean, I don't know. See, okay, here's the thing. I think whatever French I speak, because like, I did not grow up in Quebec. I grew up in Ontario, but I also, like, I went to French schools. And I feel like there is, like, a secret... I'm gonna call it, like, French immersion French. I feel like there's, like, a specific dialect of French that kind of emerges from, like, people who learned French at school, but did not live in a place that was, like, you know, you grow up in a city that doesn't have like a ton of French speakers, but you go to a French school or a French immersion school anyway. And like, you'll have teachers who are fluent in French, but they're not native French speakers. So I feel like there's like a specific like Ontario French immersion accent that I feel like emerges from that. That is like, it's not Quebecois, but it isn't not Quebecois. Like I would say it's still Canadian French, but it's not the same as what you would hear in Quebec. And in fact, some people who speak French, like French immersion French, when they go to Quebec, they get thrown off because they're like, this doesn't sound like anything I'm used to. Like, I remember when I was in grade 8, my class, we went on a school trip to Quebec City. And again, because of my mom, I could understand Quebec French, right? Because like my mom's side of the family speaks Quebec French. But the like for a lot of my other classmates who didn't have that kind of experience, they were like sitting there, they're like, has all this been for nothing? Like, it's like, is this even French? Yeah. So we learned France French? Sort of. So the thing with a lot of it is that a lot of textbooks and like listening materials and stuff that are used in Canadian schools for French classes are Paris French, right? Because they're all like, I guess Paris is like the biggest city that produces that kind of material, right? But I feel like when I was in school, a lot of, yeah, like the textbook material would all be France French. But a lot of the like if we had an assignment that's like, you know, look at this news clip, now give your opinion on it, right? Or like read this article. A lot of it was Quebec sources. So I think it's kind of a mix. Like it's kind of a mix between both, I think. We learn French. Is it like Japanese Keigo? No, I would say it's more of a region thing, right? It's like, think British English versus American English, right? It's not that one is more correct than the other, despite the fact that each one will argue that they are the correct version, but it's not like it's just different regions, right? And if anything, yeah, like British versus American French is probably, or British versus American French, British versus American English is probably the best comparison, because there's also many other countries where French is spoken, and each of them have their own kind of dialects as well, right? So, again, it's more of a dialect thing than it is like an actual like grammar thing. Because Japanese Keigo, right? Keigo is like a feature of Japanese language, but it's kind of used everywhere where Japanese is spoken, right? Like, it's not like there's like a region of Japan where they speak only Keigo and nothing else, right? Ooh. Let's go. Let's go. Maybe this will be Eggy winning day. At least once. But yeah, this is how I felt when I went to London. Yeah, I can see that. It kind of depends on like what sources of language you practiced with. Because like my mom's first language is French, but she learned English in the States. So she got used to American English, and when she watches British movies, sometimes she has to turn on the subtitles because she just like can't understand what they're saying. But on the other hand, I have a cousin who learned English at school, and they were using a lot of like British sources. So that was the version of English that she got used to. So she would actually have an easier time understanding British English compared to American English. So it really is kind of like what you're used to. Yeah, I feel like accents are a feature to a language. Yeah, but Keigo isn't an accent. Keigo is more like, I guess it's like situational language. We don't really have an equivalent in English, but it's like polite language. It's like language that you use in a situation rather than language that's used all the time. Like, I mean, I guess you could talk in Keigo all the time, but people would think you're weird, right? It would be like talking in like business speak, or like it'd be like using your customer service voice all the time. Yeah, it's more of an, yeah, you're right. Etiquette, I think, is a good way to put it. It's more of like a politeness thing than it is like an actual dialect. Like an actual dialect of Japanese, or at least an accent, would be something like Kansai-ben, right? Where it's like, okay, this is like a different way of speaking, but it's still like Japanese, and it still follows like largely the same grammar rules, right? Yeah, good old Kansai. Kansai-ben. I need to find it again. There was this... I've been still thinking... I think I've talked about this before. Because I saw this years ago, and I've been thinking about it years later. There was, like, I think a screenshot I saw of, like, a Reddit post years ago on... I think it was on, like, a Japanese learning subreddit of some kind. I don't remember which one, but it was, like, someone says, who is Kansai-ben? And, like, that's the thread topic, is who is Kansai-ben? And it's somebody being like, oh yeah, I live in Tokyo, but like when I speak Japanese, all of my Japanese friends tell me that I sound like Kansai-ben. Who is Kansai-ben? Is he famous? I'm like, I think about it all the time. Every time somebody talks about Kansai Ben, it's like, who's Kansai Ben? Like, is this someone I should know about? Mr. Ben famous. It's him, Kansai Ben. He drowned in a Zelda game in Kansai. Well, because like, okay, Kansai can be, I think it can be like an actual last name, right? So I can see why you would make that mistake, but it is also objectively very funny. All right, congratulations to Lavi, and thank you to, I can't read your name. I can't read your name, but thank you for playing. And also to Tadanozoka, thank you for playing. Well jonged, thank you. I am in 3rd place. It is not Eggy winning night. Really isn't Eggy winning night. This is like the, I went to play Mahjong IRL and people looked at me funny when I said the correct terms. Ronya, Ponya, Chinya. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, hello Azur, hello. Yes, I love him, Kansai Ben. His friend, Osaka Ben. But yeah, all that to say, I think if I went to France, I don't think they would peg my accent as Quebecois. I think I would just become like a secret 3rd thing. Like, not France French, not Canadian French. Not French from any of the other French-speaking regions. Secret, I don't know. Not even secret 3rd thing, like secret, like, 8th thing. Oh wow, these are filling up quick. Here we go. Let's go. I feel like I'd be escorted out of the Zhong parlor for said Ronya. I mean, I feel like that'd be a fun thing to pull at like a convention. Like just say Ponya and then just like look everybody else at the table directly in the eye. Because at least at a convention people would get the joke. I don't know. Someday I do want to like cosplay Ichihime and go to a convention and just spend the entire weekend hanging around the Mahjong area. I have to purposely lose. I have to purposely throw every game if I'm gonna stay in character like that. I can't français well anyways. Je ne peux pas français. Yeah, make it sound like speaking French with a Mongolian accent. What? Why? You have to become the punk cat. It's LARP. It's like the original definition of LARP, not like whatever people use it for now. I have become the pawn cat. Ichihime doesn't lose every game, but you're forbidden from anything outside of one-hand hands. Yeah, it's like I have to do oops all Tanyao. Oops all Tanyao. Nothing else. I am by no means allowed to win a game. Illegal. Illegal. I don't know, lately, after doing that, like, sewing stream a few weeks ago, I kind of want to, like, get into sewing cosplay again. But then again, I'm like, all I did was sew on the sewing machine, and, like, sewing on the sewing machine is the fun part of making clothes and costumes and stuff. Like, because, like, the painful part of making costumes is, like, the actual, like, measuring and cutting and like doing seam allowances and all like the precision that comes with that. Like that's the part that I hate. But unfortunately that is the important part, otherwise you are not going to be able to put this thing on. Like going wee tung 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 on the sewing machine. That's the fun part. That's the part people actually like, but unfortunately to get to that point, you have to like do all the other stuff first. Eggplant request. What is this? Oh, it's a thing I forgot to turn off. I'll have to refund it after. That was like ages ago when I did like the eggplant doodles. I didn't realize that was still turned on. Whoops. Have we considered reaping on the reaping machine first? False advertising. Well, thank you for paying your taxes regardless. Thank you for paying your taxes. Oh, you meant to turn that off? Not the taxes, but the eggplant request. Honestly, I totally forgot I still had it on. I legitimately thought I had turned it off. Is it called false advertising in Canada? I don't know. I'm not a Canadian lawyer. I know there are in fact eggplants who study law or who work in law, but I don't think any of them live in Canada. Has it been there for literal years? When did I do that stream? Was that 2024? Oh my god, you might be right. You might be right. My income tax is $0. I got my tax refund already too. It was more than I thought it would be. I was like double checking everything because I'm like, there's no way it can be that high. But no, it was. I mean, I guess maybe because I didn't work for the entire, like, I didn't work for a solid chunk of the year last year, so I think maybe that put me into like a different, like it unlocked certain tax benefits or something. No taxation without representation. Representation in what? Are we electing eggplant parliament here? Like, I'm assuming, I don't know, am I the prime minister? Does that make me the prime minister, or does that make me the queen? No, but like if it's a democracy, well, I guess maybe you can have a democracy, but that's also, I mean, I guess the UK is like that, right? It's a democracy, but there's also like a monarchy. Like it's just like a separate system. Also, I think TTS is down. You're correct. I think. EGGY, yes. No, you cannot be. Isn't the UK king still technically yours too? Yes. But I feel like in on paper, yes. In practice, they don't really do anything. Like, we have somebody in Canada, I don't know who it is right now, I don't remember off the top of my head, but there's somebody called the Governor General, which is essentially just like it's pretty much supposed to be like the representative of the, like British monarchy in Canada. But I don't know. In theory, they are actually allowed to like veto certain laws. In practice, this almost never happens. Yeah. So yeah, in theory, yes. We still have the British monarch, but in practice, in practice, they don't really do anything. But I guess it's probably kind of the same in the UK, right? Yeah, the royalty also doesn't do anything in Great Britain either. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like, I mean, I guess the royalty in Great Britain is very like, it's potential leader, where it's like in theory they have, at least from my understanding, it's like in theory they have the ability to make decisions and to like override decisions made by like the democratically elected leadership, but in practice this pretty much never happens. I have no choice. Yeah, the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy which, by legislation and convention, operates as a unitary parliamentary democracy. So which one do we have here in our Twitch chat? Like I said, does this make me prime minister or does this make me queen? Presidential dictatorship. I know. I mean, I guess if I was Prime Minister, that would imply that you guys all voted to make me leader. Which, I mean, I guess in a way, you kind of voted by watching me, right? You kind of elected me by being here in the first place. I guess. But I guess, I don't know. It's not like I was in an election competing with every other VTuber. Queen Eggy. We're voting with our time, yes. It's like, we elect Eggy. There is unlimited parties, but we are deciding to vote for this one. Unitary presidential theocratic egg republic order under an authoritarian dictatorship. I mean, I guess every Twitch chat is like sort of authoritarian in a way, right? Because like technically the streamer and the mods, who I guess take orders from the streamer, they have the ability to ban anyone or time out anyone as they wish, right? Or like you can literally ban words. Under this authoritarian regime, we cannot speak of LinkedIn. It's not allowed. So I guess in that way, it's like every streamer, every Twitch chat is kind of authoritarian. LinkedIn. Oh, I need to start banning all the alternatives. I need to start banning, like, blacklisting all the alternatives that like people are trying to use to get around the filter. You operate at the pleasure of Twitch staff. True, that is true. I can't just do whatever I want. Well, I don't know. I guess in a way, it's like, okay, I can't just do whatever I want in the sense that, like, there are certain things that would get me banned off Twitch, the platform. But also, I don't think banning too many people makes Twitch ban you. Like, I could ban everybody in chat right now, and nothing would happen to my Twitch account. It just means that, like, none of you would be able to say anything. I'd have no reason to do so. But, like, I could. The channel is a fiefdom, as Twitch has final say. I mean, I guess maybe perhaps the streamer is the lord to which you are paying taxes. Control-Shift-Alt-Win-L. I'm not doing that. I don't know what that is, but I'm not doing it. Thing is, there are thousands of streamers. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes it more like a... Well, I guess that does kind of make you more like a lord, in the sense that, like, they would be more lords, but only, like, one king, right? But also, like, people generally watch more than one streamer, most of the time, right? Unless you're, like, the extremely rare person who, like, made an account and follows and subscribes to exactly one person, then, like, most people, I guess, are part of more than one... Yeah. You should do it. Just opens a webpage. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Lady Eggy having her serfs work the land. They are farming. I need a small percentage of their crops. Nothing happens to your computer if you type exactly that. I don't believe you. I mean, there's a chatter somewhere I know that follows one single VTuber, has zero interest in other VTubers. I mean, I definitely know there are people like that. But usually they're following other channels with the same account that just aren't all VTubers, right? Like, I feel like there's probably people who watch, like, other streamers, but only one VTuber. But I feel like it's rare to have somebody who's like, I have made this account and I follow exactly one person. I do not watch anybody else on this platform. I refuse. I will simply watch one person. Correct. This indeed just opens a web page. I don't believe you. One person for true dedication. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you did that, I feel like there's a non-zero chance your account might get flagged as a bot. Oh, hold on, I need music again. Because I feel like making an account and following exactly one channel and not like doing anything else. I feel like that would get that. I feel like the system would be like, yeah, that's bot behavior. We're not affiliating ourselves with this. I'm willing to bet 20 gifted that this opens a web page. You say this like you don't know what's going to happen. Does it open LinkedIn? Does it open LinkedIn? Is that what it does? It actually does open a website in your browser. Windows has some funny. Try it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I have to try to find out. If it opens LinkedIn, I'm gonna be very mad. I'm gonna be very mad. Such baiting is in progress. Well, it's like, why would Windows have a shortcut specifically for that? And why would it need so many buttons? Surely it would just be simpler if you needed to open a web page to just go into the browser and open the web page with your mouse and hands. I could believe it for some VTuber crowds, but only because they mainly watch YouTube and use Twitch for bonus streams. Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Like if your Oshi streams on YouTube, but then just like occasionally is on Twitch, or maybe no, but even then, maybe I feel like you would at least be subscribed to like more than one, not subscribed, but like following more than one Twitch channel. Because, like, I don't know, maybe your Oshi streams on YouTube, but what if they do, like, a collab with somebody who streams on Twitch, and, like, they don't stream on their end, it's only on the other person's end. Like, surely you would follow this other person, right? Even if you plan to never watch them again, like, you would at least, out of politeness, give them a follow, right? Unless you somehow just have, like, an extremely solitary Oshi who never interacts with anybody. But I feel like that's not a very large collection of VTubers. A lot of YouTube fans have a hate on. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen some people say, like, I refuse to watch anything on Twitch, which I think is a bit extreme. I'm gonna be honest. Congratulations, Taishi! This is really third place. I am third place Andy is... Third place Andy is what I am right now. Thank you to Taishi, and thank you to Corporate. Oh, thank you, Spam, and my head is too big. Thank you, Spam and Yogurt. Thank you for sprouting. But yes, thank you to Corporate, and also to Azure. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing. I need to record! Sorry. I saw Azure in chat and I'm like, oh right! I have something to record! I need to be record. I have like 3 things I need to be recorded before the end of the month. Ah! I guess I kind of wanted to do a stream tomorrow. I wanted to do a stream tomorrow, but I guess I'm not gonna do that because I have to record like 3 different things. You have so much free time now. Okay, but I also have other things to do. Also, like, I don't know, lately I've been trying to... Okay, maybe it's a case, because, like, lately I've also been trying to do the thing where, you know when you, like, cover your whole, like, setup with a blanket, for the sake of, like, sound, like, noise dampening? And I feel like lately I've been trying to do that because I feel like it makes my audio sound nicer. But the downside to this is that my patience when recording goes massively down because, like, when you're under a blanket, right? Like, the blanket is covering other parts of your screen. You can't see anything. It's, like, kind of hot and uncomfortable. And, like, I feel like my patience goes way down. So it's one of those things where I'm like, I guess the final product sounds a little cleaner. But on the other hand, also, like, the amount that I can do in one like sitting without losing patience is a lot less. So sometimes I wonder, I'm like, is it better to have like a worse product that's done, or to have something that like I did not enjoy recording but it sounds better? This is the eternal debate. Also, I need to washroom, so you can argue amongst yourselves about that. Where's my washroom? Here it is. Does it even say washroom right now? No, it doesn't. Hold on. Yes, it is time for washroom. It is time for everyone's favorite part of the stream where I get up and leave. Feel free to join. Obviously, the room is still open while I'm gone. I will start whenever everyone's ready, but for the moment, washroom. This is what happens when I drink water, unfortunately. I think I'll probably have to pause the music because I know it's probably going to stop playing when I step away because my headphone's too far away. Ah! Okay. There we go. Restroom where? In the restroom. Washroom sign goes up, birds start chirping, music starts playing. Truly the Japanese restroom experience. Honestly, okay, the Japanese public bathrooms, sometimes there was like some of them would do it automatically when you sat down, but other ones you had to like press a button to do. But you could have like a waterfall sound playing while you're doing your business in the stalls. I guess with the idea being like it's less awkward to hear like a than it is to hear like one individual person peeing. It was something I never even thought of, but it was like, you know what? I don't mind that. Actually, I kind of like it this way. It's never something I thought of. But you know what? Yeah, now that you say it, I guess it is kind of nice to not have. I don't know. I guess it was never something I thought about, but then yeah, coming back to Canada after that, I'm like, now I feel awkward whenever I'm in public and using the washroom, and I'm like, there's like me and one other person in the washroom, and they're just hearing me pee. I never thought of it, but now I do. But yeah, it's the least hot and uncomfortable season of the year. Yeah, but like it's annoying. My patience being under a blanket gets it very shortened. Very shortened. Do you use the noise function on Japanese toilets? I did. Well, because some of them, I feel like some of them do it automatically. Some of them you just sit down and there's like the sound that starts up automatically. But then other ones you would have to press a button. But it depends. And also, like, there was also some washrooms that just, like, didn't have that at all. Like, I know, when I would go to choir rehearsals, a lot of them were in older buildings. Or, like, community centers. And usually, the toilets there wouldn't even have, like, any kind of, like, bidet or washlet. Like, they were just, like, toilets. I think also, too, okay, I think another thing... And this was something that I'm like, I'm not even sure how, like, Japanese people feel about it, but, so traditionally Japanese toilets were usually like the squat toilets, right? And a lot of public washrooms still have them, not everywhere. I think newer buildings kind of stopped doing them. They only have like the Western style toilets, but like my school, I think had squat toilets. Like usually it wasn't just one or the other. Like usually it was like, you would have a washroom, like you would have like a few normal, like Western style toilets, then you might have like a bigger wheelchair stall, and then you would have the like squat toilet. Like there'd be one stall of it, and I would this stall was never occupied. I don't think anybody used it. Like I think my school had them in the washrooms, and I think some train stations and some like public, like, you know, malls and such would have it. But yeah, the squat toilets, no one left behind. As a group. Yes, good night, egg. Good night, Zully. Go to sleep. Anyways, Eggy, all this is going to the sin list. All of what? Toilets? Toilet noises? Is it illegal to talk about toilets on stream? Are we all 5 years old? Are we 5 years old? You guys going he, she said toilet. She said toilet. See, I giggle a bit. See, I'll have you know I was a very sophisticated child, and I did not find toilet humor funny as a kid. If anything, as an adult, I feel like I'm more likely to laugh at the phrase pee-pee poo-poo. But I feel like that's more, not because of what it represents, but just because of how it sounds. If you were 5, pee-pee and poo-poo would be the talk of the town. See, I was too I thought myself above it. I was too sophisticated for this. I find eau de toilette funny. Eau de toilet. Me with tung 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 sahur. I don't know. See, I am above. Well, I can't say I'm above brain rot because I was the one making 6-7 jokes earlier, albeit unintentionally. I am too sophisticated. Maybe not for brain rot, but I don't know. I was not a toilet humor child. Like, the children around me would make... They would make pee-pee poo-poo jokes, and I would go, "That's not funny!" I was maybe... I was maybe a little more stuck up about it as a child than maybe I should have been. Sorry, dude, you're not that sophisticated. I never said I was sophisticated now. See, like, it doesn't take much to be sophisticated when you're like 5 years old. Like, teach them real humor. Like puns and wordplay. None of this pee-pee poo-poo nonsense. Let's go! Yes, haven't played in a bit. Hello, Azur. This is an area of puns that I refuse to explore. I don't know. Actually, most of your funny moments come from you getting angry. I don't know. I also, okay, here's the other thing. As a kid, I felt I was above pee-pee poo-poo humor. As a teenager, I felt like I was above, rage humor. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe it was also out, like, about 10 years ago was, like, the era. I think I was thinking about this the other day of, like, before we were in the era of, like, loud equals funny. And I think we're now in the era of fast equals funny. Like, I feel like before, when you wanted to make something funny, you would, like, add a bunch of sound effects or, like, bass boost it. But I feel like now when people try to make something funny, they just, like, speed it up. Which I guess is, like, a different strategy, but I don't know. At the very least, it's not gonna, like, blow out your headphones. But yeah, I don't know. I never got into the humor of people screaming. If anything, it just kind of made me uncomfortable. But I don't know. I am not above fast equals funny. Take a video of a cat and speed it up, and I will be like, hee 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 hee. But I guess it's not really comedy, it's just kind of fun. Like, I like that one video of, like, the cat, like, kneading at the blahage, but it's, like, sped up and has, like, the saxophone music. I like that one. I wouldn't say it's funny, but it's just, like, silly. Which is different. Okay, I added the toilet joke to the sin list. The one toilet joke I've ever made? Did I even make it? Does that even count? Like, does that even count? Like, are you trying to get on my case for making a toilet joke or for not making a toilet joke? You're just making things up at this point. Nah! Like, nah mention. I guess nah is sort of screaming humor, but it's different. Also, I feel like, okay, if I can't explain, but like nah feels like it's silly. As opposed to funny. Like, there's things that are silly and things that are funny, and I think those are, like, two different things. Like, I feel like most of what happens in Tomodachi life is silly, but I wouldn't say it's funny. You know? Like, okay, on my, like, my off-stream island, my personal island, as opposed to the business island, my personal island, I made a me of myself, and for some reason, like, every time I give her anything, she doesn't use it, she just stares at it. Like, I gave her, like, a rock, And then later I go back to this me and she's just staring at the rock. And then I gave her a tissue box and I go back later and she's just sitting there staring at the tissue box. And to me, I'm like, okay, this is silly. It's not funny, but it's silly. Like, that's silly. She refuses to do anything. Okay, that's a lie, actually. I think I gave her the knitting set, like the knitting needles, and she actually did knit. So it's not like she's doing nothing, but it's... if there is an object without a clear use, she doesn't use it. She just stares at it. It's like that... what's that one, like, picture of, like, the cat staring at an ice cube? It's like that. She just looks at it. But yeah, that's silly, but it's not funny. Scared if someone makes a Tomodachi out of me. Fake Tomodachi Life fan. Fake Tomodachi Life fan. Fake Tomodachi Life fan. Wee-oh, 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 wee-oh. Everybody knows that they're called me's. Wee-oh, 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 wee-oh. Fake Tomodachi Life knower. Common knowledge. Wheel, 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 wheel. That's a very subtle way to say I haven't been watching those streams. I don't know, I thought that this was like common knowledge. I feel like calling them Tomodachis is a bit like calling Link Zelda. Yes, look at this fake Tomodachi fan. Mock this fake Tomodachi Life fan. We need one Eggy win tonight, at least. At least. Is anything that I've learned is that no matter how big numbers something is, good chance you ask it to the neighbor and they have no idea what it is. I mean, yeah, but like it's rare that somebody would have heard of Tomodachi Life and not know that it features Miis. I'm sure the baker has no idea who Gargura. I mean, yeah, but like it's one of those things where it's like, if you know what a VTuber is, you probably, well, I don't know. I was gonna say if you know what a VTuber is, you probably know what Gura is, right? And if you know what Tomodachi Life is, you probably know what a Mii is. Like, I feel like it's rare to see like an incomplete knowledge in that way. But also maybe there are almost certainly people who well, maybe. I guess VTubers is like a big enough sphere that it's possible that somebody, but like people would at least know like who Gargura is, right? Or like what she looks like, even if they've never watched her. But also maybe this is just like a thing at this point in time, right? There's people that join VTubing without having an idea about Hololive. I mean, yeah, but like, surely at least they would know what Hololive is, right? Like, they might not be able to name a Hololive member, but they at least be able to be like, yeah, that's a VTuber company. If they don't know, what does it matter? Yeah, I mean, again, I think VTubing has expanded enough that I think you can have like many circles of VTubing. It's like in the same way that like anime is big enough that you can have like many anime, you have many genres, and those will have their individual, you know, individual enjoyers, and there might not be a lot of overlap. There might be shows that are like super popular in one niche that you've never heard of, right? Or same thing with video games. And I guess VTubers will eventually hit that point. I feel like more recent VTuber fans might not know who Gura is. Yeah, but like that would have to be within like somebody who like had somehow never heard of VTubers until like halfway into last year. I mean, going forward, I feel like maybe that'll be more common. Who is this fish? Is she related to Sakana? Who is this? Why is she blue? Who is this blue woman? There's always new people joining. I know, and it also depends which side you're coming from, right? Like, somebody whose first VTuber was, like, Iron Mouse might not be, like, super familiar with, like, Hololive, right? Because if they're coming in from the Twitch side, then maybe they might not be familiar with YouTube VTubers, and vice versa, right? I saw somebody on Twitter recently, because I think Iron Mouse had, like, some kind of, like, collaboration with, Final Fantasy XIV. And I saw somebody who quote tweeted the announcement, and they said, I had never heard of the, or they were like, I'm not into VTubers, so I asked some friends if this VTuber was popular, and apparently that's like asking if LeBron James plays basketball. Like, yeah. Shork. Oh, hello, Linkstorm. Good evening. But yeah, that's it. I don't know. Once again, in a moment of being too online, I have also seen things recently about like people who become VTubers who aren't into anime. There was like a whole argument about that I'm like, you know what? I don't need to sit this one in. It's fine. It's fine. I don't have to think about every single argument people are having at any given time. It's fine, actually. Hiya, in chat. Hello! Because, like, I don't know. I guess I think it is actually fine to be a VTuber if you are not really into anime. Like, maybe if you're using, like, an anime avatar. Like, if you're using, like, a live 2D model that's very distinctly anime style, then, like, maybe I would have some questions about why you're choosing to represent yourself this way if you are not into anime at all. But, you know, if you're, like... If you're using something that doesn't look very anime, and you're like, I'm not really into anime, I think it's... You can still be a VTuber, that's fine. I don't think being into anime is, like, an obligation. As a growing sentiment against VTubers that do not watch anime. Again, for me, it's like, my horse in this race is, like, I don't have... Like, again, if you're using an anime... Like, if you're presenting yourself as anime, but then you're like, I'm diametrically opposed to anime as a concept, then, like... Nah, you know. But, like, if you're not presenting yourself as anime and you're not into anime, like, that's fine, actually. That's fine, actually. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. Hold on. Ah, here we go. It's okay if we move topic. You're not the streamer! Uh-oh. You're not the streamer! You literally have your own stream! It's my stream, and I decide the topic. I'm the streamer. I could ban you if I wanted to. What's the topic? Oh, goodness, good question. What's... Oh, actually, another chronically online side plot from last week. Northern Lions Super Cruise. That was like a whole thing happening in the background. That was certainly a thing. I mean, it occurred. I don't have a lot of opinions on it, aside from being confused why it happened in the first place. But, that was a thing that happened. It's done now, but it certainly occurred. I mean, it didn't occur, but like that's the whole point. Swiss cake rolls, what do you think? Not my top kind of cake, but you know, still worthwhile. Do I even have a favorite kind of cake? Now that I think of it. Like, I guess not a fan of vanilla cake. Yeah, do I have a favorite kind of cake? I mean, I guess I like chocolate cake, but like it's not... Alright. Congratulations, Azure Strike! And thank you for playing Akirumi Bro, and rest in peace, Penbu. Well, I don't know, you didn't lose that badly. You at the very least stayed in like the double-digit thousands. But yes, thank you for playing. I think next game, what time is it? 10:46? I think this will be the last one. I think this will be the last one for tonight. And maybe I can win this one. Maybe I can get one win tonight, please. I was gonna say, don't say tiramisu. No, tiramisu is fine, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Let's see. I like... Because, like, everyone likes chocolate cake. That's not, like, controversial. I mean, not that your favorite kind of cake needs to be controversial. I guess strawberry shortcake is pretty good. Oh, actually, you know what I like? Actually, okay, no, I think I might actually have a favorite kind of cake. You know those, like, layer cakes? It's not really a layer cake, but, like, those cakes that are just, like, a bunch of crepes stacked on top of each other with, like, with, you know, some kind of cream filling in the middle between the layers. That I like. I like that one. I like that. There was a place that I used to go to fairly often that had them, and they closed, and I have not really been able to find... I mean, I know there's other places that have them, but, like, not convenient and close. Million paper. Well, it's more like 1,000 paper. No, the millefeuille cakes, yeah. Well, the thing is, I can't really say millefeuille because, like, I feel like millefeuille has, like, two definitions, right? Because, like, you have millefeuille where it's, like the layer cake with the crepes, but then you have, like, I feel like there's also, like, another pastry called millefeuille that's, like, completely unrelated, and it's, like, the one with, it's, like, a very flaky pastry, I feel. And that's, like, something completely separate. Rip yummy cakes. Yeah, it was like a whole like matcha place I used to go to. Like they had Japanese cheesecake and they had like matcha drinks. And this was actually before like matcha was like, this was like years and years ago. I think this was before, this was long, I think they closed in like 2018 or something, I think. This was a long time ago. But yeah, and then they had like the layer cakes, like the crepe cakes were always more expensive, but it kind of makes sense because it is time consuming to make, and also they have to make a ton of crepes. So labor wise, it's probably more difficult to make, or at least more costly to make compared to like, you know, a cheesecake or something. But yeah, no, I guess if I had a favorite cake, I guess it would be one of those. I have a friend who hates chocolate. I mean, I've known somebody who's allergic to chocolate. It happens. But, no, I think... I guess if I had a favorite, it would be the crepe cake. Because, like, I don't know, how... What is a normal amount of cake to have? Like, how regularly does the average person have cake? I guess when I was working, I had more cake more often, but that's usually because, like, if it was somebody's birthday, they might bring cake into the office for them. But, like, other than that, I'm not sure, like, what's a normal amount of cake. Like, a normal frequency of cake. That's the interesting part, he's not allergic, he just doesn't like the taste. I mean, I guess it's like how, like, some people don't like coffee. Or... I don't know if there's are there any other controversial flavors? Some people don't like matcha. Some people don't like pistachio. Personally, I'm not big on hazelnut. But he eats apple cores. Okay, well then... well, I mean, apple cores realistically are just gonna taste like apple, right? That's more of a texture thing, which is completely divorced from the the matter of taste of chocolate cake. I'm one of those, can't stand the taste of coffee or mocha or whatever. Again, I used to be... I feel like I don't hate coffee as much as I used to. Sometimes I even like coffee. But I feel like I'm still... I don't think I'm ever really going to become a black coffee person. I don't know, it's weird actually, because I don't like... If I have like a drip coffee, like just like normal coffee, I feel like that I can't really... I don't like without milk and or sugar. But I feel like I can have, like, an Americano. Like, I feel like maybe when it's, like, espresso, it's somehow different. Like, I don't know if it's that different, but, like, yeah, somehow it's different. Greg Elizabeth. Hello, Neil. Good evening. But, yeah. But no, I think coffee and desserts, I think, is still fine. It's just, like, another bitter flavor, like with dark chocolate or something. When it comes to cakes, I like vanilla over chocolate. I think it depends for me because I know that there are probably nice vanilla cakes out there. It's just that usually I associate vanilla with like cheap grocery store cake. Which is like a nice thing in itself, but like it's cheap grocery store cake, right? It's never gonna be stunning. Oh, I guess there were these cakes my mom would get from Costco sometimes. They were like a chocolate layer thing. It was kind of a mousse cake. I like those. I like those. They're not like my favorite. And admittedly, I go long periods of time without thinking about them. But I do like them when we did have the opportunity to have them. Hello, Mickland. I know what you mean, but the cheap chocolate tastes worse than the cheap vanilla. I don't know. For me, it's like the cheap chocolate, at least it's still chocolate, right? Whereas, like, cheap vanilla is just cheap vanilla. Oh! It's probably Girl Guide cookie season, isn't it? Or maybe they sell them all year round now. I remember when I was a kid, it was like October, November, and then again in like April, May. Maybe even March. I don't know if I'm too late or too early. Is a Costco cake the tuxedo cake? My parents like getting... Yeah! I think it's that one. Is this just like the cake that everyone's parents like? Is that... That's like the role it occupies in cake society? Yeah, that's the one they would usually get. Because, like, I think it's also just, like, a decent size. Because, like, I know that... I think they would usually get that one unless they were trying to feed, like, a really, really big group. Like, I feel like that kind of tuxedo cake was a good size for, like, if you had, like, 10 people. So, like, you know, you don't have to get, like, a huge thing. Like, it's not like this is, like, a 20-person cake, but it's, like, enough for everybody. Yeah, cheap chocolate tastes like sick to me. I guess maybe cheap chocolate might have like that acidic. I've seen some people say that like American chocolate, like Cadbury, or like the American version of Cadbury tastes more acidic than like the like European versions. But maybe that's also just like a thing that you only come to notice when you've had multiple points of comparison. Like maybe Americans are just used to it. I'm counting myself in this as well. No, for me, I think what's more important, I think, is the, at least when it comes to grocery store cakes, is also the cake to frosting ratio. I think this is more of a big deal for cupcakes than it is for, like, cakes. But I've seen some pretty egregious crimes in that department. Like, I feel like everyone's had them at one point, right? Like the grocery store cupcakes that are like 30% cupcake and like 70% icing. I feel like everyone has probably had those at one point, right? Buttercream frosting, my beloved. I mean, yeah, but like not when there's more icing than cake. You gotta have a balance. Have a balance. But yeah, maybe that is more of a cupcake problem than it is an actual cake problem. Sometimes the cake is just a vessel to deliver frosting. I mean, maybe. I remember, like, when I was in high school, it was in that era. You remember that era when, like, cupcakes were having a moment? Like, everyone was opening a cupcake shop, and, like, you had these, like, specialty gourmet cupcakes that had, like, all sorts of flavors for both the cake and the icing. And, like, I don't know, I remember one year for my birthday, my parents ordered from one of those. And first of all, they were huge. But second of all, the icing definitely was something to write home about. Like, they actually did flavor it. I feel like there was, like, a peanut butter one, there was, like, a coconut one. We had a few different flavors of icing. And yeah, like, I mean, the cupcake itself was fine, but yeah, it was the icing that was more memorable. But also, they were big enough. The reason why they were so big is that they also had a filling. So sometimes you had ones where it's like the icing is one flavor, but the filling is another. At that point, I feel like that doesn't really count as a cupcake. That's just like a small cake. But yeah, that was a thing. I don't know if it's been a while since I've seen a cupcake shop. I feel like most of them kind of went out of business. To write home, dear Eggy, the cupcakes were stunning. It's a figure of speech. It's a figure of speech. I don't know. I'm trying to think of, like, what's the current equivalent of, like, trend that will end and then all these places will disappear in approximately 10 years. Because, like, on one hand, you could say boba, but, like, boba has not died. Like, bubble tea is alive and well. And, like, I guess maybe you could say matcha, but, like, I don't see a lot of places that are just matcha, right? Like, most of the places I see that are, like, really going all in on matcha are places that were already serving, like, boba in the first place. So I feel like in that sense, they could just pivot. Customizable face mask. No, I'm talking with food, though. I'm talking with food. Because, like, you have cupcakes. I guess maybe, I don't know. Everyone's trying to make mochi donuts a thing, and it's just kind of not happening. Which, like, I don't know. I like mochi donuts, but, like... I just think there's a limit. I just think there's a limit. Slop bowl, oversized cookie, salad. Oh yeah, boba needs to go. The idea of chewing my drink is... I don't know, I like boba. I like boba. And also, boba I think is versatile, right? Because, like, boba has had a few iterations, right? Because you have, like, the original, like, milk tea with tapioca pearls kind of boba, but then you also have the kind where it's, like, you know, a non-milk tea, like, it's like a fruit tea with, like, fresh fruit or, like, other kinds of jellies in it. Like, there's a lot of directions you can go with it, right? And I feel like a lot of places can kind of pivot their menu based on what's popular at the moment. So... I'm glad they take the milk tea without the chewy slime at the bottom. You can! Most places let you do that. You can order things. If anything, some places will actually give that to you by default, and you have to order all the other stuff on top of it. Slop bowl, oversized cookie, salad. Oh, I think you're right. Cookies are having a moment. I've completely sat out the cookie trend. But you're right. Cookies are having a moment. I don't know how long that moment will last, but you're totally right. Slop bowl is definitely having a moment as well. But even I feel like slop bowl is kind of on the way out. I think as soon as it got the name slop bowl, I think that's when it started to go downhill for the slop bowls. I'm so sick of oversized cookie. I just want a normal cookie. I don't know. I feel like cookies, I've never been inclined to buy a cookie like from anything other than maybe like a bake sale. Because at least then I know that like my purchase is being used towards like some goal. Because like, I don't know, cookies are like one of the, if you're trying to like learn to bake, cookies are usually like the starting point. I feel like it's hard to make bad cookies unless you manage to make some like super egregious error with like, I don't know, mixing up a salt and sugar tier of baking error. Like, I don't think I've ever been inclined to buy a cookie because I feel like it's something that's like so easy to make a passable cookie at home. Like, cakes is more complicated. Well, maybe if the cookie's nicely decorated. But usually the kind of cookies that are like trendy right now are not the kinds that are having fancy decorations, right? Oh, you know what else is kind of having a moment is Tanghulu. It's hard to say where things will go with Tanghulu. Because I know I've noticed more Tanghulu places opening up, but also maybe that's just like one, because I guess it is popular on TikTok, which makes sense because it's like a very aesthetically pleasing dessert. I just think that like a lot of the places that sell it, it's like really overpriced for what it is. So I don't know how long that will last. I don't know how long that will last. But I don't know. What are the next food trends? Because what do we got right now? We got ube. That's popular right now. City living sounds wild. All these trendy shops opening up all the time. I mean, it's a lot of things that kind of come and go. It's a lot of things that come and go. Or you have places that serve one thing that pivot into serving another thing. So like, I know places that used to do mostly smoothies, and then they eventually like started serving boba, and then, I mean, they didn't become boba places, but like, it became a bigger part of their menu than before. Marshmallow ooh. Hold on, hold that thought. Hold that thought, I'm winning. Oh, hold that thought, I'm winning a lot. Okay. Ho ho ho. Yes, hold that thought. Okay, I'm back. Marshmallow flavor cookie mixed with pink and yellow sprinkles with marshmallow filling rolled in yellow sanding sugar on top with a dollop of vanilla. That's like 3 different variations of sugar. 190 calories per serving and 4 servings per cookie. Yeah. Is that, did you just copy paste that off like the Crumble website or something? EGGY. Watching EGGY on 420 is even better. Oh right, Happy Mother 3 anniversary. And no other important things happening on this day. Nothing else happening on this day. Happy Mother 3 anniversary. No, I don't think we have Crumble Cookie here. I've never been to one, and I have, frankly, no urge to go to one. This is off the menu of a local cookie establishment. Ah, okay, okay. I don't know. Yeah, cookie, I don't know. Just cookies from a cookie place is just not something that, like, I'm... Like, I don't know. I will go for fancy donuts, but I will not go for fancy cookies. Oh, man. There's a really good donut place in previous Eggy City, and I can't talk about it on stream because everyone has probably already kind of guessed what previous Eggy City was, but then I'll confirm it. There was like a really good donut place. They have multiple locations, but I think it's only in previous Eggy City. I don't think they've expanded outside of that, which is fine. But like, yeah, they had really good donuts, and they're like, again, all the flavors are like very distinct. They had one that was like a London fog donut where it's like the frosting had like, it was like vanilla frosting, but it had like Earl Grey tea leaves mixed in with it. They have a maple bacon donut, which I haven't tried, I don't think, but like they stocked it consistently for a while, so I'm assuming somebody was buying it. What else did they have? There's like a raspberry jam one, but it wasn't like jam filled. It was like the frosting was kind of had like a jam flavor and texture to it. They had one that was like a pink. They had one that was like very candy tasting. It was like a pink icing, and it was like just very like bubblegum cotton candy. On Valentine's Day, they would make specific heart-shaped donuts. And you had to go in early enough, otherwise you would miss it. And then you would have to be stuck buying regular circle-shaped donuts. But it was really cute. It was really cute. You could get heart-shaped donuts, and they would have like different kinds of heart-shaped donuts. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I don't think they plan to expand outside of previous Eggy City, but like, if they ever do, I support them. Ooh. Well, okay, I guess I'm... It's tough for me either way. Okay. London Fog Donut sounds awesome. Yeah, that was my favorite actually out of the ones they had. And like, yeah, they had other ones. Like they had like a... Oh, there was another one that was like a coconut mango one. So like it had a coconut cream filling, and then the top was like a mango flavored frosting. And then it had like pieces of like shredded coconut on top. That was pretty tasty. I like that one too. If anything, that one might have actually been my second favorite after the London Fog one.
No.
Nah. Okay. Stop taking away my winning. No. 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 I do find it funny to hide the lengths Eggy goes to hide Eggy City, where a third of Canada's population the provinces resided in. I mean, yeah, but like, okay, it's one thing to know current Eggy City, because current Eggy City is very big, and the likelihood, I mean, it's like how Bobeba is from New York, right? Where it's like, okay, New York is a giant city. The likelihood that you would go to New York and be able to find Beba is like pretty low, right? But I feel like knowing current Eggy City and previous Eggy City together might be a little too specific. You know? Like, I know that there are plenty of people who have lived in one and moved to the other, but like, realistically, that can't be that big of a pool, right? Compared to like the entire city. New York has more people than my country. Yeah. Plus, if you count also too, like, because I think both Eggy City and New York are like this, where you have like the main city, but then you have a lot of like surrounding areas that are also generally considered to be the city. Or at least like adjacent to it, right? Like close enough that you could get there within like an hour of driving, or even an hour of transit, right? So, if anything, that like expands it even further, right? Is Eggy losing? I'm in third place. Make of that what you will. Yeah, unless it's literal farm country triangulating. Hold on. Someone based on 2 cities is crazy. I mean, you'd think so, but I don't know. I feel like I've heard people... I've seen people get triangulated for way less. Because, like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's always like, okay, be careful with your personal information. And it's like, okay, understandable. But it's also like, I am, in fact, a real person who lives in the real world, contrary to popular belief. So I do kind of, like, inevitably, that's gonna make its way into what I say and the things I talk about and the experiences I've had, right? It just kind of happens like that. Like, where you live... Are you kidding me? Where you live will inevitably affect your life. In a major way. Really? 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 Okay.
Come.
Gone to South 1. Still like this? Okay, sure, why not? I was impartial to VTubers who go full kayfabe, sending in his schizophrenia like Hachama. Yeah, well, I mean, again, some people can commit, but I guess it depends on, like, the style, right? I feel like, if anything, like... In 2020, I think it was easier to commit because nobody was going outside. Right? So, like, if you don't go outside much, you never have to talk about, like, a thing in your area. Right? Whereas I feel like I think as things started to open up, it kind of got harder to maintain that, right? Because, like, yeah, you're going places again. Like, you know, if I say I got on a plane to go to New York, then you guys can probably ascertain that I do not live in New York, right? So, it's one of those things where it's like, after a while, I think it kind of becomes harder to maintain in that way, right? Just we say close for the sake of getting rid of COVID for good. Well, I just don't know how easy that would have been to maintain, right? Because even then, like, there was still people going out because they had jobs, like they work in like a hospital or something. I was working through well, not the entire time, but like whenever stores were open, I was working. So like summer 2020, I was working, not the entire time, because they had like a schedule for it, but it was like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So yeah, I was employed. I was working that time. I was doing retail. I was I was disinfecting change rooms in between people trying things on. And even when people tried things on, we then had to like stick it, I don't know, it was a little excessive. When people would try on clothes, we would have to, after they tried it on, the stuff that they didn't buy, we'd have to like stick it in like a quarantine room for a couple days. Which was like another chore to add to the pile because it's like now we have to cycle stuff in and out of that. But yeah. I never liked professional wrestling, so I could never get into kayfabe. Yeah, I mean, I think with VTubers it's kind of come and gone, right? Like I think like pre-2020 and during like up until 2021, I feel people went hard on the kayfabe. Blah! Sorry. People went hard on the kayfabe. And then, I feel like that kind of faded after a while. Because I think after a while, people were like, why are we doing this? This isn't necessary. And then, so then they stopped. And then I think eventually we're going to loop around. I think I was talking about this a little while ago, but like, my personal theory of VTubing right now is that like, so you know how like Vocaloid had a bit of like a kind of like a downturn in the second half of the 2010s. And I think we're kind of in that same stage in VTubers where it's like the novelty has worn off. Things that were popular then are still popular now, but like it's a lot harder to get off the ground than it was before, right? But on the other hand, Vocaloid eventually had kind of a renaissance, right? And I'm like waiting for the VTuber renaissance, and I'm like kind of wondering what that will entail. And I think that a return to kayfabe is going to be a big thing in like 5 years in VTubing. that's my personal theory right now. Like I think, because like one of the things I've noticed with Vocaloid, like I think one of the markers of kind of this new era of Vocaloid is that there's been kind of a return, because a lot of it is made by people who were like, because it's been like, you know, it's like a decade after the first Vocaloid boom, right? So there's a lot of people who were like, they were old enough to have experienced it, but not old enough to have really participated in it. Nah! Hi, hello, Kate MMT. Good evening. So I think a lot of it was like people getting inspired by that. But I also think that there's also a matter of like, you know, we live in an era where like AI music is just like a thing now. So like the idea of like a music made with a computer, like your singer is a computer, is not really special anymore. So it's like, okay, what makes Vocaloid special? And the answer is, well, it's Vocaloid. So like what makes Hatsune Miku important? She's Hatsune Miku. So I feel like there's been kind of a return to like character-based songs or like narrative-based songs. And I feel like something similar will happen to VTubers, where it's like people who got inspired, people who were like watching, you know, Hollow Myth in 2020, but were like not able to really participate in VTubing due to being like 13 years old. Like 10 years from then, like what will they want to try it too? Like will they be able to take the things that inspired them when they were younger and kind of like recreate it but in a new way? And I think that's kind of what will happen. So that's why my theory, I'm trying to like predict a future. I think a return to kayfabe will be a big thing. Like a return to like heavy character-based stuff. It's hard to say. Return to traditional VTuber values, join a corpo to get scammed. I don't know in terms of like corpo versus indie, like where the future of VTubing lies, because I feel like it's also going to be kind of both and neither. Like, strategy, join a corpo or get scammed, rebuild the audience and none of the strict regulation. I don't know though, because like, on one hand, I think one of the reasons why I think companies were so big at the beginning is because there was resources that you could only really get if you were in a company. Like, I feel like before, unless you had, like, a ton of money, I feel like trying to do any kind of, like, 3D performance was just, like, not really in the cards if you weren't in a company. But I feel like that's different now. Like, the tech is still expensive and still difficult and very, you know, complicated, but it's, like, significantly more accessible than it was, like, 5 years ago, right? So I feel like, in that way, like, there's certain things that you just don't really need a company to do anymore. Yeah, the barrier to entry was way higher in 2020. Yeah. And it was also, too, like, another thing of, like... Yeah, you're right, the barrier to entry was just way higher. So, like, the perks of joining a company were a lot bigger, even if the downsides were also big, because it's like, okay, yeah, there might be downsides, but you're doing something that you wouldn't really be able to do on your own, right? Whereas, like, that's not really an issue now, right? It's a lot easier to get started now, so... Rigging was the biggest choke point. Iron Vertex could charge as much as they did because they were the only ones who knew how to do it. Well, not necessarily the only ones, but you're right that, like, the idea, like, live 2D was, like... You're right that there's definitely fewer people who knew how to do live 2D. Let alone, like, big fancy live 2D. But on the other hand, I also think live 2D is more expensive than it was when I started. Because I think, like, the bar has been raised by a lot, so I think that in that way, it's both more and less accessible than I think it was before. Because on one hand, there are way more, like, you can go on, like, Booth or VGen and just, like, find a, like, you know, a pre-made model. Or, like, customizable models. That's, like, a whole thing that didn't exist back then. But, yeah, so that's different now. But... Yeah. Yeah, I might be using slight hyperbole, but yeah. But yeah, on the other hand, I feel like live 2D was cheaper. Obviously, it looked worse back then. But on the other hand, like, I guess the bar was not as high as it is now, I think. But also, I think I haven't gotten any updates to this model since, like, 2023. So I don't actually know. I don't actually know how much stuff costs now. I haven't looked into it for a while. Maybe I'm completely off. But... No, Yeah, it's hard to say what the future thing is. But we can make guesses, because guessing is fun. South 3. I said this is the last one, and now we are stuck in eternal Mahjong. Okay. 3D has become more accepted in the meta. It used to be looked down on, but 3D models when rigged and with decent tracking is on equal footing with live 2D. Yeah, I think also just, like, the stuff needed to make 3D good is also a lot more accessible now. Like, a lot of, like, the VR and tracking stuff is... Like, there are both more options and also, like, more affordable and more accessible options. Remember, what was it called? Like, leap motion or something? What was the thing that everyone used to use to track their hands, except it wasn't, like, that great at doing that? Was it leap motion? Mokopi was huge, yeah. I know that's, like, one of the cheaper options. I know there's, like... Well, because, like, some of them came out of, like, VR, right? Like, some of them existed before, technically. It's just that nobody really thought to use it for VTubing. This is what, like, Slime VR, I think, is another one? Or... I know there's some fancier ones, but yeah, I think. Yeah, Leppit was the one I heard a lot of people were using at one point. Yeah, I remember that was one. Leppit. Was it Leppit? Was one. Wasn't like Face Rig like a thing before VTube Studio really got big? I know that was one that some people were using early on. You know what? Sure. If it'll bring this game to an end. But on the other hand, maybe it's difficult to predict, because like the future of VTubing is also like heavily reliant on the future of the internet, and it's hard to predict where that will go. Like even to compare to Vocaloid again, like again, one of the big, I feel like another big feature of current Vocaloid is that TikTok is a thing now. So I guess both the kind of music people are making and also the way that they release it is also different. Because if you're kind of, you know, what does well on YouTube is not going to be the same as what does well on TikTok, right? So I know that, like, that's another factor. So it's, like, hard to say. It's like there could be some other format or some other platform that's about to, like, explode that we've never heard of. And it's going to change everything, right? Or maybe everybody will give up on the internet. Or, like... It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Maybe everybody will go touch grass. Probably not, but, like, you know, nothing is impossible. VTubing feels like it's being pulled in so many— Ooh! Sorry, hold that thought. Will this pull us out of Eternal Mahjong? Well, maybe it might. We are free from Eternal Mahjong, and we get the only EGGY win of the night. The only EGGY win of the night. There we go. That was the last one. That was the last one I'm doing for tonight. And it's the EGGY win. I guess that's a good place to stop. I'm quitting while I'm ahead. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Glad I got to witness it. Yes, witness the EGGY victory. Witness the EGGY victory. Yeah, VTubing feels like it's pulled in so many directions at the moment, to the point where I argue there's no real difference in facecam is to streaming. Yeah, I mean, I guess this was always going to be the natural endpoint of VTubing, right? Like, where it stops being, like, a niche in itself, and it just becomes, like, a feature of streaming in general. Like, in the same way that, like, some people are just facecam streamers or just voice streamers, and some people are just VTubers. Like, that's just what they are, right? No more gimmick, now it's endemic. Yeah. I feel like that was always going to be kind of the natural endpoint. But, again, even within that, there's so much that can... There's more that can be done, it's just hard to say. It's hard to say. Mahjong is a natural endpoint of all VTubing? Correct. Everyone will become a Mahjong streamer. If your Oshi is not playing Mahjong yet, well then, the second best time to start is now. Speaking of, which there's a video going viral of Hinabobina getting triple Yakima. Yes, somebody was sending that in my Discord server the other day. I have seen that one, yes. I think some people were finding out that you can... like, that's a thing that's possible to happen. Everyone will retire to the old folks' home well prepared for their Mahjong arc. Yes. What is the point of retirement if not to play Mahjong? That's the entire point. Why would you do anything else? Alright, let's see. Let's see who's on. Because it is rating time, which is the natural endpoint of every Twitch stream. Who's on? Kaji's on. Bakipam is on. Bloom is on. I feel like I've rated Bloom recently, so... Corpse is on. Sussy's on. Almontis is on. Slabman is on. Ashton is on. Let's see. Let's see. You know, I don't think I've ever... Have I rated Pam before? I guess, I don't know. She doesn't play a lot of games that I play. Like, I don't think, like, in terms of, like, the games we stream, we don't have a lot in common. But I've been in a few, like... She runs a lot of, like, these, like, super big VTuber concerts that have, like, hundreds and hundreds of VTubers. I've been in a couple of them. She usually runs them around the holidays. I guess we can, yeah, we can raid into Pam. Have I ever raided into Pam? Maybe I have. Where are you sending YouTube? Nowhere, because I can't do that yet. You actually can't redirect on YouTube until you have 1,000 subscribers. So, I mean, if you want me to be able to redirect on YouTube, then, tell all your friends to watch and subscribe to NiceEggy on YouTube. Actually, if you're following on Twitch, I believe the link to my YouTube should be in my bio. So yeah, if you're following on Twitch, make sure you're also subscribed on YouTube, I guess. I'm gonna need to make 1,000 friends first. True, true. I mean, I don't know how many friends you have. If you have 4 friends, tell them to subscribe to NiceEggy. That's 4 more people than there was before. I am not subscribed to your YouTube. Why are you wigglying with that? Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Endurance stream on YouTube until X subscribers. Well, that's gonna be quite a while unless you can make stuff happen quickly. I think I'm at like 620 something last I checked. I think I'm somewhere around there. Last I checked. Unless something has exploded when I wasn't looking. But no, YouTube's a weird one. YouTube's a weird one. I mean, yeah, YouTube is weird for VTuber growth, I think, compared to Twitch. But I have discussed this previously. I have discussed it previously. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you. Because I know... again, YouTube is weird for streaming. 622 subscribers from what I see here. Yes, thank you for checking. In Penbu in the YouTube mines. Yeah, because like... Again, yeah, I've talked about this before, but like, Twitch feels like a live thing, but YouTube feels like a stream is just a YouTube video that hasn't been made yet, right? And it's being made in real time. So I think that in that way, it's... And I feel like YouTube, again, they didn't have any kind of like community features. Like, YouTube streaming feels very solitary in a way that Twitch doesn't. Because like, YouTube didn't implement anything resembling raids until like a couple years ago. And even then, it's still not quite the same. Like, it doesn't have that element of surprise. I mean, some of it was, I think, because a lot of people were worried about, like, hate raids and stuff at the time on Twitch. But I think, like, on YouTube, I think, like, it kind of takes away the element of surprise, because the only people who can raid into you or that you can raid is, like, people that you have, like, allowed, right? So, like, if you're in a VTuber group, right? Like, obviously you've probably added all the other people in the group, and, like, that makes sense. But, like, I feel like if you're independent, you have to, like, individually ask people to be like, can you waitlist me, please? So it still feels a lot more solitary than Twitch. You're like a lone rugged VTuber in the YouTube wilderness. As opposed to Twitch, where you're like among a crowd, I guess. But we are rating Pam on Twitch. Let me actually launch it. Here we go. We press the enter button. So I will be back on Wednesday because tomorrow I have to get a haircut and then I have to record a bajillion things apparently. So I think I will be back on Wednesday with Zelda as usual. Please finish the songs. Yes, they're all for other people. They're all recordings for other people's projects. So I will be back on Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday, and I will be streaming Zelda as usual, and that will be nice and good. But in the meantime, thank you for being here. Thank you for being nice and good, and I will see you on Wednesday. And au revoir. End card, right? End card. Au revoir.